So good morning, everybody. We're excited to be here to talk about farm marketing, specifically through video. My name is Marie Boyd. I work with Healthy Harvest of North Iowa, and we run the Local Food Connection program. So we're all about connecting local food businesses and networking opportunities, as well as education and programming in the North Iowa area. And thanks to virtual, it can go beyond that space as well. So thanks to everybody who's joining us this morning. And we are thankful to Ash to be able to be our marketing expert in the area. So I'm going to pass it over to Ash, who's going to lead us through this workshop this morning.
All right, awesome. I'm going to go ahead and pull up my slides. And we talked about right at the beginning, depending on what the connection is like, people might have to turn their video off. So if you want to have your video on, you can, but if we end up having issues with showing video during the presentation, then we might have to have people turn their video off. And if you have any questions at any point in time, you can drop them into the chat box and Marie will let me know when we get to a point where we're taking questions, and then we can do that. I have never done a video marketing workshop before, so I'm really excited to do this for the first time today. And I imagine that there will probably be lots of questions, as there generally are. So we'll just go ahead and get into it. And I hope that you're ready to have a mix of doing some work on your own, answering questions as a group, and also just learning some tips and tricks and general things that you should think about when you are considering using video to market your farm or food business. And my name is Ash Bruxford. There's a picture of me. I'm the one who is a night owl. So 8:30 in the morning for me is a little early. But I'm happy to be here doing this with all of you this morning. So it's okay because I've got my coffee and I've got my smoothie here and we're going to get through it. And probably about 9:30 is when I'll really start hitting my stride. So I am Amethyst Content Marketing. My partner Marty and I do marketing services for small businesses. We live in Mount Vernon, Iowa, and run Thistle Summit, which is a bed and breakfast. We are unfortunately closed right now because of COVID, but we do a lot of other things like gardening, which, as you can imagine, not being a morning person, that can sometimes be challenging for me as the person running the garden part of the business. But she also bakes and cooks, and we do farm to table dinners and all kinds of stuff. So that's a little bit about me. And I like to just talk about that because I'm also a small business owner. I do marketing. I help other people with their marketing, but that is actually a part-time job for me because I'm actually doing my own marketing for our business and for some other businesses that I have. And so over the last, I would say probably 3 years, I have gotten increasingly reliant on video marketing, using video marketing for my business, and then also helping other people get into using video for their business. I think video is such a great tool for marketing your business. So I'm really excited to talk to all of you about that today. And then also previously, I have about 10-ish years of experience in working for local food organizations, businesses, food hubs. I also worked on vegetable farms for a couple of years and was always the person that people would come to and say, Ash, how do we use Facebook? How do we use Instagram? How do we do all of this stuff? And so basically just realized there was a huge need for more people who were farmers or running local food nonprofits, food justice organizations to have access to better information about how to use social media to market their businesses. And I will tell you, it's definitely not the most lucrative subsect of like businesses to work with all of the time, but it is a lot lot of fun. And I have a huge passion for local food. I have my entire life. I grew up on a conventional corn and soybean farm in Iowa, actually. And I'm really just passionate about there being more diversity in terms of the kinds of foods that are grown and marketed specifically in Iowa. But there's a lot of Iowa organizations down here, but I think some of the people here today are not from Iowa. And I've worked all across the country as well. So that's a little bit about me and my background and why I'm teaching this. And right now, sorry about the blurry logo, but I am doing some work with Healthy Harvest of North Iowa and also North Iowa Fresh. And I know Andrea is on the call today, and I've been helping her with getting into some video marketing for North Iowa Fresh too. So we can maybe talk a little bit about that later. But yeah, right now I'm really focusing a lot with the North Iowa region, and it's been a lot of fun working with Marie and all of the people in North Iowa, working on actually a regional local food campaign, which will be launching actually officially like next week. Around that period of time, Marie and I are going to have a call after this today, actually. So I'm spending a lot of time on Zoom today. But yeah, we're working on a regional local food campaign, and this is part of the design for it. It's called the Grow, Eat, Play campaign. And it's all focused on the experiences that are created around local food. So those experiences of the first strawberry and the first apple and the first farmer's market and going and getting your transplants and putting them into your garden for the first time each year. All of those things that we do with our friends, by ourselves, with our partners, with our families, and create really great memories around local food and local businesses. So I'm really excited about this campaign and just the whole look and feel of it. We're not going to spend a lot of time talking about that today, but I did want to share a little bit about that because you'll be seeing more about it soon. And here's just another example of the Grow, Eat, Play campaign. So when it's actually up and live, you'll definitely want to go to the Healthy Harvest website and check out the Grow, Eat, Play hub that we have over there. We will have a really great quiz about what kind of local food experience you should do. And it's a great thing. It's catered to North Iowa, but if you're not from North Iowa, it's definitely something that you can share with your audience as well. And I think you might see some really cool ideas in that in this campaign and also in the online hub, but I'm probably a little biased. All right, so today's agenda, you all filled out some questions ahead of time, and I used those questions to kind of help me decide what to talk about today. Video marketing is obviously a huge subject, and while we have quite a bit of time today, there are certainly things that we will not get to. So I will do my best to get to as much as I possibly can. While I'm talking about the agenda, if you want to drop in the chat box what you're most excited about learning about today, I will take a look at those after I tell you a little bit more about what we are going to be learning about today. So today's agenda, we're going to have basically 4 different sections. The first section is going to be potentially the longest. It's about how to decide which type of video is best to meet your goal. So we're going to talk about what are the kinds of things that you should think about before you even get out your phone, get out your camera, get out the tech equipment, like all of that kind of stuff. How do you decide what kind of video you're going to make, how long it's going to be, what resources you're going to use, what platform you're going to be on, all of that kind of stuff. Then we're going to talk about speaking with confidence, what to say and how to be engaging. And I know that this is a huge thing for pretty much everyone on this call. Pretty much everyone who filled out the survey said one of their biggest barriers is that they don't want to look stupid on video. And I will say, as someone who has looked stupid on live camera many times, it is not as bad as you think it will be. We'll talk about that later on today. So what to say, how to be engaging, and how to decide what it is that you need to say and like how to stay on track, all of that kind of stuff we'll talk about later today. Then we're going to talk about going live, which is really just how to use your video, how to get people to watch your video, and how to get the most mileage out of each video that you create. You'll find as we go through this presentation, I'm a huge proponent of make it once, use it 15 times. As if you can use content multiple times, that'll really save you a lot of time in the long run. And so I'm going to talk a lot today about how you can decide what kind of video to make and then how to use it over and over again so that you have a huge bank of content to pull from in the future. And then we'll finish talking about tools and techniques, because it might seem kind of weird that I'm putting tools and techniques at the end, because like, don't I need to know what kind of camera to use? And maybe I need to know what kind of microphone to use and all of that kind of stuff. And I'm going to tell you right here at the beginning, you need way less than you think you do, because you can go live. Most of you probably have a webcam on your laptop. If you're on this Zoom, I assume you probably have some kind of webcam or cell phone camera. And you really, when you're going live, you don't need to edit video. You don't need to have perfect video. It's really the beauty of going live on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube is that the amount of tech that you actually need to get started is pretty minimal. But we will talk about some of the tools and the equipment that will definitely make your videos better in the long run, and some of the things that I would suggest investing in if this is something that you think that you're really going to spend a lot of time doing. With that said, I'm pretty much going under the assumption that most of you are not planning on starting a vlog where you are planning on investing thousands of dollars into starting a YouTube channel or something like that. There might be some people on here who are interested in doing that kind of thing, and I can send you to some of my favorite resources, but I'm pretty much going with the assumption that most of you are looking for minimal input, minimal time, maximum outcome kind of marketing, because I know as a small business owner, that's the kind of marketing that I am most interested in. So is there anything that people are really excited to learn about? I think I've got one person who put in the chat box, which is Marie. What are folks excited to learn about today? Excited for tips on how to be engaging on video. So yeah, if there's other things that people are excited to learn more about today, then you can put them in the chat box. Of course, as we go forward today, if there are things that come up that you feel like I'm not covering, I could potentially be covering it later in the presentation, but yeah, also feel free to let me know if there's anything that you're like, I really wanted to know more about this and I feel like we didn't cover it. And we'll obviously have some time at the end where you can share questions. I'm excited about learning about the basics. That's good, Shirley, because that's pretty much what we're going to be covering today is the basics. But also, hopefully, my goal is that you all leave today feeling comfortable, specifically going live, because I think that that is going to be the place where you're going to see the most bang for your buck going live on Facebook. So we'll talk more about that later today. We'll talk about it pretty much throughout this entire presentation, but all right. So let's go into how to decide which type of video is best to meet the goal that you have or the content that you're trying to create. And I wanted to talk about, this was a comment that came through in the survey. I don't like social media and I feel like it's not a good use of my time. And yeah, I get that. I'm just going to say straight up, as somebody who has done social media marketing for almost 15 years, that sometimes social media marketing it feels like a huge time suck. And it can feel like it takes way too long to do everything and you don't get the results that you want. And that's a reality. I'm just going to say that right here at the beginning. You know, there are a lot of things that we have to deal with when we're working with social media, like algorithms that are created by people like Mark Zuckerberg, who get to decide what content is valuable and what content isn't valuable. And I think that that's one of the things that makes creating social media content so frustrating, is because it can feel kind of like dehumanizing almost, because you put all of this effort into creating content and trying to promote your business, and sometimes it can just feel like you're shouting out into a void. And there will be times when you make great content and nobody sees it simply because of the algorithm. And there are ways that you can understand why that might have happened, but there are also times when, you know, I have posts that do really badly and it's not really clear to me why, you know, and I might have made content one time, 1 week with one approach, and then 2 weeks later I try to do the same thing and I don't get the results that I want. So I just wanted to say that if you don't like social media and you feel like it's not a good use of your time, I really do understand that. I'm not like, as somebody who's talking about social media, I definitely am not someone who's like, social media is the greatest thing ever. But I'm going to talk to you a little bit about why I think it's important and why I think it's still useful. So we're going to go ahead and watch a video actually. So we'll see how our tech does here first thing in the morning. All right, do you see this reel up here now, Marie? Okay, all right. So this is a reel. I'll talk a little bit about what reels are after this, but this is one of the reasons why social media, or at least marketing your business, really important.
Inconvenient truth, da 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 da. Inconvenient truth, da 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 da. If you fail to become a marketer, so will your business fail. That is inconvenient truth, da 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 da.
If you didn't get that, she said, if you fail to become a marketer, your business will fail. That's true. You don't have to use social media to market your business, but in 2021, I think you're going to find that not using social media, most businesses are going to struggle more than if you don't. If you do. And so it's a tool that is available to use to get your name out there, build community, and you can use that tool in a way that fits with you in your life. But bypassing social media in its entirety, there is definitely a reason why people are on social media marketing their business every day, and it's because they get results from it. And sometimes those results look like I made $1,000, and sometimes those results look like I got one new customer. But in the long run, I think you'll be happier having used the tools available to you than not. And I also like that she says at the bottom of this, if this upsets you, I hope you're super rich. Because like, I think sometimes, you know, in local food, and some of you might work with nonprofits and stuff too, but even there, I have a degree in nonprofit management. I will tell you, money is important. Like, I know we don't always like to say, oh, I want to make money, but I'm guessing you're on this video because you'd like to make some money. And so it's useful to use social media to make money. As someone who in my business is like, we would make no money without social media. We would make no money like without using the internet and the tools that are available to us. And sometimes that looks like we're spending way more time making content than we want to, but that's like 1 week and then another week we're not. So there's some give and take definitely with using social media to market your business. Okay, I gotta go over here and go back to presentation mode. All right. This is a reel, by the way. We'll talk a little bit about different kinds of video in a few minutes, but if you're not familiar with Instagram, they have a short video format called a reel. These videos are less than a minute long, and often it's just people dancing or mouthing words to music, and then they put these little captions over top of it. I'm going to talk a lot probably about this when we talk about the short format, but Reels are basically Instagram's version of TikTok. If you're familiar with TikTok, it's basically the same thing. It's like a minute long video with little captions dropped right over the top of it. And a lot of times you don't even have to talk to the camera. So if you're into not talking to the camera, I would say these short format videos are definitely a good option. And they're a good option for a lot of other reasons too. Why else is social media important? It's important because it helps other people find you and promote your business for you. This is really what we always want to think about when we think about social media is who is my audience and what kind of resources can I give to them so that they can share about my business with other people for me, especially if you are a small business owner, you've got we say small business owner. Some of you might have, like 20 employees. Some of you might have 0 employees. I'm the employee. And so when you are running a really, tight ship, so to speak, you want to make sure that you are giving other people as much as you can for them to do the work of promoting your business for you. So that's one of the beautiful things about social media is social media has share buttons. People can share your Instagram posts, they can share your Facebook posts, they can share your live. If people comment on your live, it might be shown to other people who aren't following your page yet, if they're friends with that person. So it's all about creating this interactive community of people talking, and then they can share the things that they're excited about, which our hope is that they're sharing about your business, that they're excited about your business, they're excited about their work that you're doing, and they want to share it with the world. And they do that through us going on social media, sharing our stories, talking about the things that are inspiring us, helping people who would be potential customers know who we are and what we stand for. I'm a big proponent of taking stances on social media so that people know who you are and if they want to align with your business. And it also lets people know if your business is still active. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but in my other farm marketing workshop that I do, which is a more general kind of farm marketing workshop, we talk a lot about SEO or search engine optimization. And I think we've all had that experience where we go to Google or we go to Facebook and we search for a business, we search for something that we think should be out there, and they haven't posted in like 6 months, or they haven't posted in a year, or even they haven't posted in 8 weeks. And we might go to that page and be like, I don't know if this person is still doing this. I don't know if this business is still active. And so having regular content on your social media, that's where potential customers, that's going to be one of the first things that they see is when was the last time they posted? And they will factor that in because in our mind, it's like, okay, if they haven't posted, then they must not be interested in my business. That's one of the things that people think when they don't see that we've been posting. Why else is social media important? This is a big one, and I've been thinking a lot about this lately. Social media and marketing is important because we are humans. There are humans that you rely on to run your business. Because if you are not making connections with these humans, they don't know that you're out there. They don't know why they need to buy from you. They don't know who you are. And humans, more than ever, crave connection. We want to connect with other people. We want to know who they are. We want to know what these people are all about. And we want to know where we're putting our money when we're spending money. And so, I don't like social media because I feel like it's kind of a waste of my time. You need to create connections with other humans. That is how you will grow your business. Social media is one of the best tools out there for creating connections with other humans. And that might mean that you have people who come and comment on your page or on your content. every week, every month, and you might sell to that person one time a year, depending on the kind of work that you do. But social media helps you build those long-term connections, and those people who do come and comment and share your content, those are the people who are really invested in your success and your growth, and you want to show up for those people by coming on to social media and giving them more content so that they can share about your business. So those are some of the reasons why I think personally social media is very important. Also in 2016, it's specific to video, Mark Zuckerberg claimed at that point in time that Facebook could be mostly video by 2021. And if you've been on Facebook recently, you will probably see that there's a lot of video out there, specifically ads. There's more video ads on Facebook than there have ever been. We'll talk a little bit about that later on today, but Facebook also owns Instagram. And if you go on Instagram, you will also see the same thing, lots of video. TikTok has been the platform that has blown up the most in the last couple of years, and it's all video, only video. So the way that social media marketing is moving is definitely video. And to be honest, I think COVID is a factor because people want to see people's faces, they want to see them talking, and they want to feel like they can connect, even if it's through the computer screen. And so video is definitely going to be the way forward. So if you're not using video, like I was saying back in 2015, that video was going to be the way forward. And 6 years later, it's like, yeah, video is everything. So if you're not incorporating some kind of video into your marketing strategy, I think you're really missing out, and you will probably get dinged by the algorithm if you're not using video actually. And believe it or not, using video is the best way to improve your reach, which can ultimately lead to spending less time on content creation. And it depends on how you approach making video and how you approach video in your marketing. But I think that if you go live on Facebook once a week or once every other week, you will see better results in your marketing than you would posting every single day. It's not that posting is like not worth your time or it's bad or it's like don't do it anymore, but there's a reason why there's Facebook pages out there that have like hardly any posts and tons of lives, and they still have thousands of followers because Facebook pushes those lives to the top of the feed. So it doesn't matter if you only have 5 people, if you have 0 people tune into your live, just the fact that you went live will help you to improve your reach overall for your page. All right, so this is a question. So we're gonna need some interactive stuff here. If you would drop into the chat box, when was the last time that you watched a video on social media? And while people are thinking about when was the last time that they watched a video on social media, I see that Lisa said that she is interested in new, fresh, inspired ideas because at time I feel like I get into repeats and I get bored. Totally feel that. All right, so some people said this morning, yesterday, a long time ago, this morning on Instagram. Yeah, totally. So almost everyone has watched a video in the last 24 hours. I would venture to guess that a lot of us have watched a video in the last 12 hours. When do we like to watch our videos on social media? It's when we're in bed, scrolling on our phone at night, looking up like this, hurting our eyes from the light. And that is when we watch video. And it's something that for the vast majority of people watching a video on social media, it's not like we specifically go to Facebook or Instagram to watch a video. It's just that they're literally everywhere. If you get on any social media platform, you don't even have to scroll probably before you start seeing a video. Marie says, my husband told me to get off the phone last night while I was watching something while I was also complaining I couldn't fall asleep. Yeah. And why are we so into video? Well, part of the reason is because we're getting shown video all of the time. But another reason is that it's your eye is just attracted to the moving objects in the video. So even if the sound is off, your eye will still be watching the video and just watching people talk, even if you don't know what they're saying. I think a lot of us probably have done this where we're just looking at our phone. We're not really getting anything out of it. We're just seeing these moving, talking heads, but we're enamored with it. And that is part of the power of video, is that it's, for one thing, it's highly promoted. And for another thing, we as humans are really attracted to moving objects. And when we're looking at our phone and we see moving objects, that's the first thing that we look at, and we scroll past the paragraphs of text that people post and go for those moving objects. And that's part of the reason why Facebook is making people, make video as part of their content, is because they see that more people are spending time on the platform because they're just scrolling, looking at all of these videos. I think somebody put something in the chat box. Can you talk about the difference between video on Instagram stories and Instagram reels? When do you use which? Yeah, we'll talk about all of that stuff later. Okay, how did you watch the video? What platform were you on and where were you? So if you want to drop in the comments or in the chat box answers to these questions, but we just talked about one, which is probably where a lot of us have been when we're scrolling on video. Where were we? In bed. A lot of the time that's where we are. What are some of the other times when we are mindlessly scrolling and just watching videos? When we're bored, when we don't want to focus on our work. That's a really common time. I know for me, when I'm like, I don't want to look at my email, so I'm just going to scroll on Instagram for a while and watch a bunch of reels. Also in the bathroom is a time when a lot of people are looking at Instagram, especially like if they work in an office or something like that. And they're in the bathroom and they might not have the sound on, but they're still scrolling and watching videos. And I know the vast majority of you are using Facebook as your primary social media platform or your only social media platform to promote your business. So some of you, the vast majority of you have probably watched a video on Facebook, but I'm sure many of you have also watched a video on Instagram. And then, yeah, how did you watch the video? Did you have the sound on? Did you have the sound off? Let's see, I know we've got some comments coming through here. So waiting for something. Yeah, waiting to, I went to the dentist earlier this week, and what am I doing? I'm looking at my phone, scrolling on Instagram before I go into the dentist. I'm waiting for my partner to come out of the store, and I'm scrolling and looking at Instagram or Facebook and watching videos. Sitting in the car, Shirley says watching videos on YouTube, definitely. And also the thing about YouTube is that they send notifications. They send so many notifications if you have the YouTube app on your phone. So they're always sending you, trying to get you onto YouTube, back watching videos. And also the experience of watching a video on YouTube, we'll just say right here, we'll probably touch on this later, but the experience of watching a video on YouTube is extremely different from watching a video on Facebook or Instagram, because when you go to YouTube, YouTube is a search engine. You are going to YouTube and you are searching for some kind of content, probably, whether it is you're trying to figure out a problem, solve some kind of problem. You have maybe somebody who you watch their vlog, you watch updates from them every single week. YouTube usually is more long form content. Videos on YouTube are usually more like 5 to 15 minutes and sometimes can be even longer than that. Whereas on Facebook and Instagram, people are going to those platforms to continuously scroll. You go to YouTube and you're going to try to get to like your final destination basically as quickly as you can. And then YouTube keeps you on the platform by suggesting other videos for you to go and watch. Whereas Instagram and Facebook, they just want you to stay on the platform, and it doesn't really matter if you're actually watching the video, if you're actually listening to what the people are saying. They just want you to stay on the platform, and like literally the reality is that they just want you to keep looking at the moving objects. That's why video is so popular on those two platforms. Shirley also says recently been using it to learn about microgreens and other things. Absolutely. YouTube is a great place to learn about literally anything. Like your toilet's not working, there's something wrong with your car, you're having marital problems, whatever it is under the sun, there's videos about it on YouTube. It is a great place to go and learn stuff, including about how to make video and about social media as well. So definitely would recommend YouTube. We'll talk about that later too, about why YouTube is so important when you're first getting started with making video. But okay, so as you can see, as I'm like talking through some of these problems, that it's not one size fits all. Video marketing for your business is not like, I want to start marketing my business using video. Well, how do I do that? How do I know what kind of video I should make? So there's a few different kinds of videos that I would pull out. And I want to make sure that we talk about stories too. So I guess, Marie, I don't know if you can do a quick poll, but it might be helpful to hear from people, like, when you think about video marketing, what do you think about doing? Do you think about going live on a social media platform? Do you think about sharing a video that you have recorded or like a pre-recorded video to YouTube? Do you think about short form content like Reels or TikToks? Or do you think about content that is temporary, such as going live on a story post or talking on a story post on Instagram or Facebook? So I don't know if you got all of those different options, but if it's possible to do a poll on that, that might be good to know. Maria's like, Ash, why didn't you tell me this earlier?
I'm trying here. Or put them in the chat if you have comments on that.
Yeah, you can also put them in the chat. Which one do you think about doing? Facebook Live versus videos posted to Facebook. Yeah, so that's basically what we're talking about right now. So Facebook Live would be like going live on a video, and a video posted to Facebook. I assume what you're talking about there is a pre-recorded video, which would be like you sit down one day with your phone or your camera, whatever you're using to record your video, and you are recording a video and you're editing a video. And normally those videos will probably be longer, and they'll probably be focused on sharing some kind of information. So while Marie's figuring this out, we'll talk about live video. What is live video? So live video is where you go live. You've probably watched other people do it. And so what you're doing here is you're going to, Facebook or Instagram or even YouTube, and you are hitting the button, like for me right here at the top of my Facebook profile, and I'm just hitting go live, and I could start a video right now. I could connect with people right now, and Facebook or Instagram or YouTube would tell my followers, the people who are following my page already, that I'm going to go live and invite them to come and join and watch me record. And I might have, 5 people tune in. I might have 30 people tune in. I might have no people tune in. That's just the nature of going live. You don't know which one you are going to be hopping on for. Pre-recorded video would be like, I'm going to actually, sit down and record it, and then I'm going to upload it to probably YouTube and then post it later. So what kind of video do I want to make? If you wanted to make a live video, I would say that going live, first of all, is you will get the best results from going live. You'll get better results from going live than from doing pre-recorded video. That's my personal opinion. I have some statistics later on to support that, but going live is definitely a really, really important strategy, which is why I'm talking about it a lot. Going live would be best for quick insights, like literally just I had an idea and I wanted to share it. I've done no prep work. I have not thought about necessarily even what I'm going to say. I'm just going to pop on live for a few minutes and share something. You might be sharing the sunset. You might be sharing a deal. You might be sharing just some kind of insight that you've had about your business or about the product that you sell or something like that. You might be just showing a quick video of I'm out harvesting carrots today and there's not much to say about it. I'm just showing you what I'm doing today. So it's good for those kind of quick insights. Like I said, product highlights is really good for going live. Also, conversations and interviews. So Andrea, who's on here today, has been doing some interviews with her producers in North Iowa Fresh. They bring together different producers and their produce, their products, and then put them together and aggregate for a box so that people can get multiple different products from different farms all at one time in like an easy pickup method. And so she works with multiple producers, and so she's doing interviews with them using Facebook Live right now. Live video is also really good for behind the scenes. Like I said, like, this is what I'm doing today. I just wanted to pop on. When you think of live video, like that's definitely one of the things that I think about most when I think about live video is like, I just wanted to pop on and talk about this. And I didn't necessarily put a lot of prep work and time into it. Although like in Andrea's case, she is coming up with her questions ahead of time, setting up for people to jump on and do the interview and all of that kind of stuff. And like I said, in that example, live video can also be used for long form education. You can do a live where you are doing a whole conversation or where you are talking about a specific topic and you are providing a how-to or you're providing some kind of longer term insight in your live video that people could watch later. Like for me, like I've even done live videos where I'm basically teaching a little workshop and I've prepped for it ahead of time. And I might even have told people ahead of time, hey, I'm going to go live at this specific point in time. But, you know, well, I guess the next slide is about pre-recorded video. But the thing that is coming to me is like, you know, why would you go live versus doing a pre-recorded video? For me, one of the biggest answers to that question is engagement. People comment on live videos at like a higher rate than if you have done a pre-recorded video, like you've recorded something, posted it to YouTube, and then you're sharing it over on Facebook. Depending on your audience and the kind of video that you are sharing, you're probably going to see higher engagement on a live video than you will on sharing a link. And another good thing that live video is good for is flash sales or live sales. So you've probably seen this during COVID, especially people going on and doing their sales through Facebook Lives or Instagram Lives and saying, I have, you know, this is the product that I have. And if you want to buy it, type in the comments and reserve your spot, that kind of stuff. You'll see a lot of that on Facebook Live. And then what kinds of platforms? Pretty much any platform you can go live on now. You can use Zoom. Sorry, I'm just gonna fix my computer. You can use Zoom to go live on Facebook as well, or on YouTube. You can broadcast yourself, but I can't remember what the exact statistic was. I want to say it's like, if you go live directly on Facebook, that's called native video. You're going live directly on the platform that you're sharing your video. Engagement's like 85%. Versus if you recorded something on another platform, say YouTube, and then you posted the link to your recording on Facebook, you are missing out that much on the engagement because Facebook prioritizes video that's recorded directly in their own platform over other platforms coming in. They want you to use stuff that they own. So it's not that you can't do that, but it's just something to think about. All right, recorded video. So for a recorded video, what I think that recorded videos would be best for. So keep in mind, this is like, I'm going to take time on this day I'm going to prep for my video, I'm going to record the video, and then I'm going to post it later. I think that this would be best for like an ad, some kind of promotional video. I also think that recorded videos can be really great for conversations or interviews or some kind of long form education. And then also for vlogging, if you have a vlog that you're using to kind of promote your business, then I think that recorded video can be really good for that. And so, how would you use a vlog to sell? Basically, what you would do is you would take your own products and you would talk about them in your regular weekly or monthly kind of video. So recorded video is, in my opinion, a lot more work because you have the initial prep time that you're probably putting in more time into, and you probably also have more editing to do on the back end for a recorded video. Whereas going live, you're going live directly in the platform and then sharing through that platform. Generally speaking, pretty much no editing required to do that. So that's another reason why I really like live video. And if you wanted to share a recorded video, you could use that. You could use other platforms. So you could record your video on Zoom and share it through YouTube, or you could share it on Facebook. You can share it on Instagram. Instagram has some, restrictions on how long your videos can be and where they can be recorded and that kind of stuff. But you can see a pretty big difference and kind of at least my perspective on like when live would be best versus when recorded would be best. So Laura says, I post a lot of videos that I've pre-recorded to stories. And so for that, I assume that you mean that like over the course of your day or your week, you're recording videos on your phone. And then when you are ready to post to the story, you're just uploading it to the story and posting from there. So that's a little bit different than some of the things that I'm talking about here, which would be more like I am going to basically post this on YouTube, would be one of the main ways that you would probably be doing more of a long form educational video. All right, I have a couple more that I'm going to share about this, and then I'm sure we have lots of questions. So we'll answer some questions here in a few minutes. So short form video, that would be, there's lots of different ways to approach short form video. So you might be recording it like Laura is ahead of time. You're recording it, little clips of you talking about different things on your phone, and then you're sharing it out later. But also when I think about, and when I say you're sharing it out later, you're probably sharing it to stories. So Facebook stories or Instagram stories, rather than opening up your app and then just talking directly into the story post. Other types of short form video are, like I talked about, TikTok is a huge one, which probably most of you are not using TikTok to promote your business because it's mostly catered towards younger people, although that is changing. And there's been a lot of people who have had a lot of success on TikTok, but I would say TikTok is really geared towards information sharing and like funny videos, but you could use TikTok if you wanted to. And then Instagram also has, like I talked about earlier, the short form content reels, and those are similar to TikTok. And so for some people have actually started taking their TikTok videos and uploading them to Instagram as reels. And it was actually just announced this week that Instagram is going to start punishing people who do that, and they will not be seen as much. So it's, once again, they prioritize native video, which means that they only want you to be posting your content on Instagram. They don't want you to be posting it on TikTok. So if it has the TikTok symbol on it, then you won't see as good of results on your videos on Instagram anymore, which is really unfortunate. Short form video, so like going onto a story and posting, making a reel or making a TikTok, or even making a really short video, like a 1-minute video or something like that, is great for product highlight, talking about a specific product that you make or sell. It's also good for short form education. So taking a video that would maybe be 15 minutes on a specific kind of topic and breaking it down into bite-sized pieces and just doing a quick video on one piece at a time. You're still teaching your audience about a larger topic, but you're giving it to them in smaller bite-sized pieces. And so quick tips also kind of feeds right into that. So if you're giving a quick insight, quick tip, that kind of thing, that can be really good for the short form videos. And then also I think behind the scenes can be really useful too. If like, for example, if you are showing how you actually use a product that you sell behind the scenes. So like you're in your own kitchen chopping carrots, you're in your own living room, and you're using a lotion that you make or something like that. Or you're showing, maybe if you make products, you're showing people what your morning routine looks like, giving them that kind of feeling that they're getting a behind the scenes insight into like what your life looks like, but you're featuring the own products that you make and sell in that short video. So basically you're being your own hype person. And personally, what I think works best is some kind of blended method, which would be like, I'm doing a live video, I'm doing a live interview on Facebook, and I'm going to then, after I'm done with that video, I'm going to embed it into a page on my website so that people who find me on Facebook can watch that video because it's saved on Facebook. But if they go to my website, they also can see that video and watch it later. Or if you are making some kind of educational video on Instagram of any length, you could embed those videos or link to those videos as part of an email series that helps your customer to solve a problem. Or if you do a live webinar like I am right now, you could record that live webinar and you could turn it into an evergreen workshop that you would offer in exchange for an email address, like an email opt-in, or you could charge people for it. So you could charge people to come to your live webinar, like about, I don't know, cheese making, and do a webinar about that. And then you could record that whole webinar and you could upload it to your website and you could charge people money for it later. So you're doing the work once and you're getting paid twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, whatever it is. So that's what I mean when I say blended method. Is basically like anytime you go and make a video, I want you to think about some questions. And one of the biggest questions is, how am I going to make sure that I'm sharing this with more people, that more people have access to the information that I'm sharing in this video? And so I'm going to talk about 15 questions to ask yourself before making a video. But I think I'll pause here. And if you have any questions, please put them into the chat box. I will try to answer as many questions as I can. If you have questions about anything that I've shared already, I might answer it later, I might not. So please let me know if you have any questions. But what I'm talking about with embedding your videos is, this is how you make evergreen content. What is evergreen content? Evergreen content is content that does not go bad. For example, what would be an example of not evergreen content would be like, today I'm having a sale and it ends in 3 days. Well, you're not going to save that video and embed it into a blog post because it's not evergreen content. If somebody comes back to that video in 6 months, it's not going to be relevant to them. But if what you're sharing is, this is how I use my salve, and these are the ingredients that are in my salve, and I'm going to show pictures of those ingredients and put them into a reel on Instagram, that's evergreen content. You can embed those videos into your website, into your blog. You can go back in 6 months and you can share that reel again. You can reuse and recycle that content. And so it's not that we never want to create content that is like I have a sale today, or I have a special insight that I want to share with you that's not going to be relevant in 6 months, but that we also want to make sure that we're making evergreen content. So like, why is this important? So one of the Facebook feeds that somebody sent me when I was helping them with their video was a local business that goes live every single morning, and they talk for like maybe 5 minutes about like what the specials of the day are and that kind of thing. I am not saying that's not a good strategy, because like I've said, going live is a really great strategy, and going live on a regular basis will definitely get you more engagement. But the thing I don't like about that strategy is you're making a video once, and that video within 24 hours is not relevant anymore. So you've put the time into making that video, and you will not be resharing that video. You won't be posting it anywhere else. It's up for 24 hours and then it's not relevant anymore. So there's a time and a place for that kind of content, but it's maybe not the only kind of content that we want to make. All right, let's see. Has anyone posted how short time-wise is a short form video? I would say a short form video is less than 90 seconds. Maybe even less than 3 minutes would still be in that short form, but I think if you're getting over 3 minutes, then you're actually starting to get into the long form content. And part of the reason why is, I will share statistics on this later, but it's like the first 5, I think it's actually the first 3 to 10 seconds. That is the average watch time of a video. So if you are making anything longer than 90 seconds, like, you're kind of wasting your time a little bit when it comes to the short form videos. And then you might want to start thinking about going into making more of a long form kind of video. So when I say short, it's quite short. Even videos that are, 60 seconds or less would be in the short form content, and would definitely be videos that would be appropriate for sharing out on social media. And I think this is a great question, Kathy, because I think this is one of the biggest hangups that people have. And I know for me, when I started making video, you might notice about me as I'm teaching today, I like to give people like as much information as possible. I really like to give you info. And that's one of the biggest struggles that I've had with giving people with doing video to promote my business, is that I'm a teacher. I want to teach people things, and I want them to know as much as they possibly can. And I want to correct their, misconceptions and things like that. And so when I think about making a video, I might think, okay, these are all of the things that I want to talk about. And that's going to take me, 30 minutes. And it's actually going to take me, an hour and a half. As we have seen this morning even. So when you go live, should you pause for a bit or let folks jump on, or just dive right in? Oh my gosh, the eternal question. So I think it's probably best to just dive right in, honestly. And so one of the things that I will often say if I'm going live is I'll say if there's nobody on in the first, 15 seconds, which is usually the case, I will usually try to fill up a little bit of time right at the beginning of the video by just talking about some nonsense kind of stuff like, yeah, I'm going to share this later. So I'm just going to dive right in. But today I'm going to be talking about, and then kind of mention what you're going to be talking about. Also usually at the very beginning of the video, I'll share some kind of thing that's not super relevant to what I'm going to be talking about. So I might say get on, go live, sit there for a few minutes, fix my hair, look at my face for 15 seconds, and then say, all right, well, I think I'm just going to go ahead and dive right in because I'm going to share this to my feed later so people can watch the replay. And then before you say what you're going to talk about, say yeah, earlier today I was drinking my coffee and I was just thinking about, and then start going into what it is that you're actually going to start talking about. And I always like to say, even a couple of times at the beginning of my live video, today I'm going to be talking about this specific subject. And if there's people who are joining on right now, I'm talking about this specific topic, but once you're about a minute in, you definitely want to be like into the content. And another thing is like, so then you share it out and then there's like weird 30 seconds at the beginning where you're just sitting there. So you can, yes, Kathy asked, can you trim off that idle chatter? Yes, you can. You can download your video to your phone and you can clip it. But to be honest with you, I never do. I just post it straight to the feed. And then I might say in a comment underneath, like, actual video starts at a minute in or something like that. But the reason why I'm just going to be straight up with you and tell you I don't do it is because, like, you need to not worry about perfection when you're making video, especially when you're going live. It's your biggest enemy. People, they will maybe lose interest, but if they are genuinely interested in what you're talking about and you have a good title of your video, you're talking about something and you're really letting them know, like, this is what I'm talking about in this video, and they want to know about that, they're not going to care if they have to go 30 seconds in to watch the video. So especially if I'm doing information sharing, which is usually what I'm doing when I'm going live, I don't, but I know a lot of people do. If you get the sense after you've gone live a few times that it's most likely that nobody is going to join your video, because sometimes that's the reality. Nobody watches your live video when you're live. It doesn't mean it's not worth your time or that nobody will watch it later. But you will not always have a huge audience of people watching you when you're live, which in some ways is kind of comforting because it's, kind of takes some of the nervousness out of it, I think, for people when they're first getting started, if they don't have a ton of people watching them. But yeah, you can trim it, but you definitely don't have to, is basically my answer to that question. So this is just an example here of my partner and I went live. This is like the before times. This is like a year and a half ago. My partner and I went live on Facebook. It's like the only time we've ever gone live on Facebook because we are not super actively promoting our marketing business right now, but we did a video on earned media, which is basically like things that you do that get you featured in the newspaper and stuff like that. And we talked live for 15 minutes. There were some people who joined in and asked some questions in that process, and we shared some helpful info. And the main place that we usually send people when they're first deciding if they want to work with us is our website. We don't send them to our Facebook page because we don't really use it that much. So we are more active on Instagram and other avenues of our business. So that's how people usually find us. But anyway, we made a blog post. We embedded that live video directly into this blog post. And then we took the transcript from that video and made the blog post. And so now, a year and a half later, this blog post is still out there. That live is still helping people understand how they can work with us. We did it one afternoon, and we still get to reap the rewards of making that content a year and a half later. So that's what I want you to think about when you're going live. I think basically this is what I'm trying to tell you. Going live does not have to be temporary content. Going live can be evergreen content. Just because you're going live and there's 3 people watching you does not mean that that video can't get hundreds of views over the course of time. So that's what I want you to think about when you're making video. All right, so I've got 15 questions to ask yourself before making a video. So the first one is, which target audience am I creating this video for? We're not going to go super in depth into audiences because we talk about that in another workshop, but you should have some kind of sense of who your audience is. And I don't mean everyone. I don't mean everyone who lives in my town. I mean like women between the ages of 30 and 50. I mean like women who are health conscious in between the ages of 30 and 50 or 60 and 70 or whatever it is. But I would really encourage you to know who your top 3 audiences are. And when you are saying, I'm going to make a video, who is the audience of this video? So another way I like to think about this is, who needs to see this video? If I am selling, I think we all in our businesses, we have different avenues that we make sales. So we might have a product line, we might do teaching, we might provide a direct service, we might do some kind of CSA box or something like that. But who is the audience that needs to see this? Who am I talking to? So like for me, I do an herbal apothecary line, and I know that when I'm promoting those kinds of products, I'm talking to people who are interested in plants. They're probably roughly the same age as me because that's the majority of my audience, or they might be about 10 years older than I am. And the people who are most likely going to buy my products, they're plant people, but they're not herbalists. And so that's the audience that I'm speaking to. So that's the kind of language that I need to use. I need to use a language that makes a plant person, when they see me talking about it, feel interested and engaged because I'm talking about something that they're interested in. But I also need to be showing my expertise in a way that is accessible to a beginner, somebody who doesn't know a lot about herbalism, but is just interested in learning more about plants in general. And also, like, who needs to see it might be like my existing customers, people who are already engaging with my business. They might be the people who need to see this because I'm offering some kind of special, or I'm offering some kind of limited time product or something like that. And so those are the people who need to see this. And so you want to think about, who am I speaking to? Who needs to see this video? Which audience am I talking to? And yeah, Marie and Andrea both have shared some comments about going live. So Andrea said, our latest slide had 2 people on it live, but 175 views since then. So that's just the way it goes. Most of the time, I would say the vast majority of the lives that I've done have had 5 or fewer people on them, but they do get hundreds of views afterward because the algorithm pushes it up into the feed and it continues to show it to people. And Marie said, our live yesterday had an average of 6 people watching live, but we have 206 views and over 17 hours and just over 17 hours. So yeah, really important points that when you go live, you might not have anyone watch, but people will watch it later. And that's what I think about when I think about recording lives. I'm thinking, I'm recording this video, I'm sharing this information live, but really I'm approaching it in pretty much the same mindset and headspace as I would if I was going to jump on a pre-recorded video, meaning that I'm sitting down to record something for YouTube. Of course, I can be a little bit more like, okay, I can cut this stuff out. So like if I am recording something to post on YouTube later, sometimes I just kind of like let my mind wander while I'm talking, because sometimes like the best stuff comes out when you just let yourself talk. But really when I'm getting on live, I'm pretty much thinking, okay, I'm going to share this video later. So I just need to do what I would do normally, but do it in front of a live audience. All right, other questions to ask before making a video. What problem is this video going to help my customer solve? So what is a problem that they are dealing with? Basically, they're trying to find information out about something. So like in the example earlier, I went to YouTube to watch videos about microgreens. The problem that that person is helping you solve is you're trying to learn how to grow microgreens, and you want information about what kinds of tools you need to grow microgreens. Where should I buy the best seed? What kinds of lights do microgreens need? How long should I cover them? All of that kind of stuff. And so you are going to search out for those answers to that problem. The problem that you might be helping somebody solve could be something that is like, I am sick of there being 6 feet of snow outside my house, and I want to feel like it is spring. And so the offer that I am giving to people is helping them to feel like they are in touch with spring, because they can buy fresh garden vegetables and they can prepare for receiving those in a few weeks, but it'll help them to feel that sense of optimism about spring coming and overcome their sadness about the amount of snow. So I just share that as an example of the problem that you're helping somebody solve. It doesn't always have to be like, I'm literally teaching somebody how to do something. Sometimes the problem is that someone is sad. Sometimes the problem is that they are stressed because they are a mom and they have 4 kids and it's COVID and everyone's home and their husband's on their nerves. And you have a calming cream that they can put on their foot before they go to bed at night to chill them out. So those are the kinds of problems that you might be solving. It's not always like I have to teach somebody how to do something in depth. And yeah, how does what you offer solve that problem for them? And why are you in the best position to solve this problem? So in the example of the foot cream, you might say, I, like you, am a stressed mom with 4 kids and my husband is just getting on my nerves. And if I did not have this foot cream at night, I would blow up at my whole family. Like, I don't know what your life is, but these are just some examples of people that I know in my life and the kinds of things that they're in the position to sell other people. But why are you in the best position to solve the problem? It might be because like you and your customer, you've got some kind of kinship, you've got some kinds of things in your life that are the same, which is maybe why you have made the product that you do. Or maybe you're not the same. Maybe you're growing vegetables and you're primarily serving an audience of retired people who are on special diets. Why are you in the best position to solve that problem? Well, for one thing, you're growing the vegetables, so you can talk about that. You also might have experience in your life. You might have parents who have been on special diets, and you can talk about like, these are the types of foods that I've given to my mom, like that kind of thing. But these are some of the things that you want to think about. Okay. Lisa says, Ash, are you talking about me right now? I don't know you, Lisa, but I could be. Okay, some of the next questions. What do I want them to do as a result of watching this video? This one's super important. You could go live trying to sell somebody something and never tell them what you're trying to sell them. So if your point of making the video is because you want them to purchase something, don't be ashamed of mentioning 3 times over the course of 5 minutes that what you have, the product that you have to sell those people, is what you want them to do as a result of watching this video. Buy this product. You don't have to do it in a way that's like, I'm making this video so that you come and buy this product. No, you're telling them the story about like, I came up with this product because I was stressed and because I needed something to calm me down. And so if that's something that you're dealing with, then you can buy this product on my website. Or if it's that you don't want them to buy a product, maybe you want them to sign up for your email list and you want to collect their email addresses so that you can let them know when you're making more content, when you're putting more offers out there. But you want to think about, what is it that I want the people watching this video to do? Because you're not just sharing information out of the goodness and kindness of your heart. You want to make money. So what do you want people to do as a result of watching this video? And then when will I ask them to do this? I will say at the beginning of the video, today I'm going to be talking about chronic stress and some of the effects of calming herbs that can help us to regulate our stress when our nerves are all wonky. And if you're interested already in learning more about that, you can head over to my website at blablabla.com and you'll find many different products under this tab. But I'm going to tell you a little bit more about my favorite products and why I like them so much. And then I'm going to talk about each thing. And then after I talk about each product, I'm going to say, and you can find this at my website. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to say, and you can find this on my website. And also, if you want more information about these kinds of herbs, then please sign up for my email newsletter. You can find the link to sign up in my profile. But you want to make sure you have a specific ask in your video. And I would say if you are running a business, every time you are on a video, there should be some kind of opportunity for people to engage with you further, whether that is liking your page or, and honestly, if people are watching your video, they probably already like your page, but I'm just going to throw that one out there as an easy one. But also subscribe to my email list. Even if you don't have an email list, even if you're like, Ash, I don't plan on sending out emails, I highly recommend collecting emails from people early, often, all of the time. And, you know, purchase my product or share. That's another great thing that you can ask people to do if they're not in the position to buy. Remind them to share. Share this video with your friends. If you think that this product would really help your stressed out best friend, please share this video with her because I would love to help her. But you want to make sure you have a specific ask. Is the information that I'm sharing time sensitive? So this is like the example we talked about earlier, where like, when would I share information about, like if I was going to do a sale on a product and I was going to do it for 24 hours, well, I'm probably not going to sit down and make a long video about that. I'm going to get on my Instagram story, I'm going to get on my Facebook story, and I'm going to just record myself saying, today only, I'm offering this sale. Or another example is the information that I'm sharing time sensitive. You might be launching something new. You might have a new product. You might have a new way for people to buy something from you. And it's maybe only available for a set period of time. This product is only going to be available from March 15th until April 15th. And so if it's time sensitive, that's going to change the way that you're going to talk about it, because that, like we talked about earlier, that's not going to become an evergreen piece of content. You're sharing something that is quick, that's important. So when you get on, you know, like if you're getting on and you're going to say, I'm having a sale for 24 hours, you're going to come with a different energy than I'm here to teach you about why the different varieties of carrots I offer are like how you would use them in different foods. You know, like what's the difference between a storage carrot versus a carrot that you're just going to pull out of the garden and eat? That's a different video than, hey, I'm coming on here to launch this product and it's going away on April 15th. You're going to have some more excitement and some way to really pull people in. You're probably not going to spend 15 minutes fixing your hair and your makeup right before you go live and start talking in a video like that. You're probably going to just jump on with a big smile on your face and say, hey, I'm so excited to talk to you about what we have in store with our business this week. And we are doing a limited time offer. You know, that's the kind of language that you're going to use versus I'm telling you about the different carrots that I have to offer, and I'm trying to educate you on more of a long-term basis. You're probably going to come on with a more of a calm, hey, I'm really excited to talk to you about these carrots. And I love carrots. And so I want to tell you about some of my favorite different kinds of carrots. You can tell just right there, huge energy difference. So is the information that I'm sharing time sensitive? Do the people watching have access to information that other people don't? So special for you viewers of this video, I'm offering 10% off. Go to my website and use this code. Only available to viewers of this video. If you want to share the discount with your friends, please share this video with them and let them know. You know, that's a way that you can create kind of this like inside, they have access to something special kind of feeling. And then basically what we've been talking about, how long will people benefit from hearing this video? And so basically one of the things I want you to think about with this is like, if you're going to make a 10-minute YouTube video, I would recommend not making it about something that is only going to be relevant for 24 hours or for even 30 days. You might have supporting content that is going into like a longer launch, but it's probably not going to be your main focus. If it's time sensitive, you're probably going live those videos might only be able to be accessed for 24 hours. So you might just be posting it to the story. You are not putting in the same level of time and energy and excitement into that kind of video as you are with something that's going to be something you're going to use again and again and again. All right. If no one watches this video today, would it still be worth my time to make it? It's a relevant question. If I am going to take 15 to 30 to 60 minutes out of my day to make a video, and I don't think that it will ever result in a sale, it's probably not worth my time to make that video today, even if I am really excited to talk about a specific topic. I would say one of the ways where that's maybe not so true would be if you are providing some kind of education or insight that is like giving value to your community of people who follow you, and it's part of that like long-term relationship building, and you showing, hey, I'm interested in this kind of thing, and you might be interested in this kind of thing too. So like, let's say that you really like smoothies, and you know that you don't make smoothies, and you maybe don't even make something that goes into a smoothie, but you have kind of gathered from following your audience that they like smoothies too. And so you're going to pop on and you're going to do a quick live video talking about why you love smoothies. And it might be like honestly kind of irrelevant to your brand, you know? It might be kind of irrelevant to like the kinds of things that you normally talk about, but you're making a connection with your audience. And that might not directly result in the sale, but that like audience building thing, that could later result in sales. Sometimes you might find yourself making videos like that, but still, if no one watches the video, you're not building that relationship. So that's just one of the things that, and also like what we were talking about earlier with going live. If no one tunes into my live today and I have this recording of this video, is that going to be worth my time to go live? Or am I not going to use this video again because I'm talking about something that is like not going to be relevant? So just thinking about like, if no one watches this video, how am I going to use it? So how will I make it possible for people to watch this video in the future? Whether that's putting it into an email sequence, embedding it into a blog post, I'm going to share it again as part of a longer term social media thing in 3 months. You want to think about how you're going to make it possible for people to use it in the future. And also something that I do sometimes is if I'm going to go live and maybe I've decided I'm going to go live at 4 o'clock today because I want to talk about this specific thing, I might post to my story and say, hey, I'm going to go live at 4 o'clock p.m. Central Time today to talk about this specific topic. If you can't tune in, drop your email address and I will email you the video after it's done so that you don't miss it. How are you going to make it possible for people to watch it in the future? Because you don't want to be reliant on Instagram and Facebook because they're not going to do you any favors just because they like you. You are in control. You have to be the one who's in control of how that video is going to get distributed. And so one of the ways that you can do that is by collecting people's email addresses and let them know later on that the video recording is up and send them the link. And then what content can I create to make the experience of watching this video more beneficial? So this would be like if you are making that video talking about different kinds of carrot varieties, maybe you have actually typed out in a document, these are the different carrot varieties and this is how you use them. Or maybe you have even included a recipe for the carrot variety that you're going to be talking about. And people who are watching the video, you can go to the comments below and you can download my info on these carrots. And you're giving a value add to them. You're giving them another way to engage with your knowledge and to make that decision that they're going to purchase from you. Or if they're already purchasing from you, you're giving them a tool that they can then later use and share with other people to say, this is why you should support this farmer, because they always offer really great resources on how to use their products and all of this kind of stuff. These are just some examples. All right, so basically these in general, these are the 5 questions that you want to think about. Who am I talking to? What problem am I solving? What do I want them to do? Is the information I'm sharing time sensitive? And how will I make it possible for people to view it in the future? So before you're even getting out the camera, those are some of the questions that I would highly recommend thinking about, because that's going to probably give you some kind of idea of what kind of video it is that you're actually creating. All right, and a bonus question, how do I make money? Is my job to create content? The answer for the vast majority of you, I'm sure, is no. Your job is not to be a full-time content creator. And so you do want to think about how much time is it that I'm putting into this, and am I getting the results that I want from that time? I'll show you a time breakdown later of, for me personally, the time investment of going live versus doing a pre-recorded video. But, you know, sometimes you might put more time into making a piece of content, but that means you have to be able to use it longer. So the longer you put into it, the more time it has to be useful to you. So don't spend 6 hours making a live video telling people about a product or something that's only going to be relevant for a day or 3 days or whatever it is. Spend your time, invest your time in making content that's going to last longer than that, or spend less time making shorter, quick, insightful content and be less worried about perfectionism. Okay, so we're going to start moving into what to say and how to be engaging. We've got one question. If other people have questions, we could also have people turn their cameras on too if they want to, if they feel comfortable with doing that. I don't want to spend a ton of time because we're about an hour and a half in, and I've got some a lot of stuff to share with you, is what we've learned. So Shirley asks, when you do a live, do you have someone else help by holding the camera, or do you just set the camera up? This is a great question, Shirley. So we will talk about tools that you can use later, but I would say when you're going live, well, first of all, it depends on if you're going live using your webcam on your laptop or if you're using your phone. I would say I personally prefer to use a tripod. I definitely do not like to rely on my partner to hold my camera for me because she is busy and does not have time. So I have a tripod like this that I love, especially for using my phone. I'll show you pictures of this later on, but I love this tripod because it has flexible legs, which means that I can set it up at different heights. I can do this kind of situation where I have like one leg is down and the other two are kind of spread off to the side. And then what you do is you can just pop your phone right in this very high-tech little sandwich, and then you can set it up anywhere. And I love this because if for those of you who are out in the field, way easier, you can even take these little legs and you could wrap them around a tree, or you could wrap them around a piece of equipment or something like that, and then have your tripod ready to go. And it's small and it's cheap. I think this is like 20 bucks. And you can have it with you all of the time. So I would highly recommend, if you're planning on doing video a lot, investing in something like this. You can also hold your camera yourself if you're doing it with your phone. The problem with that is that you could put your hand underneath the phone, which is where the sound comes through, and you could mess the sound up. So I prefer to use the tripod so that I'm not worrying about that. Another thing is the angle. If you're using a tripod, you kind of know like me right now, I've got my computer set up on a bunch of board games because I like to stand while I'm talking. And so I know this is the angle, this is the frame. If I go over here, you can't see me, you know, I'm over there, you can't see me. So I kind of like to know, like, this is the angle that I'm at. Whereas with the phone, if you're out walking around, the phone's down here, you're all looking at my chin, the phone's up here, you're like looking down on me, you know. So I think it's good to have the camera situated so that it's in front of you and you kind of are within the frame and you're not moving around a bunch. And also, if people don't have good service, the more kind of stationary you are in a live video, the easier it is for that to not be so much of an issue. So I hope that that kind of helps. You definitely can have people hold your camera for you. And if your business partners or your partners are available to be your camera person, then that is awesome. But I know also for a lot of small businesses, you might have just a couple of people who are doing the work, and it's probably not realistic to say, hey, come and help me record this video right now, especially if it's long, you know. I mean, we help each other with recording our videos, but pretty much we're doing it on our own. And we might have a little bit of help from time to time. Okay, so speak with confidence, what to say and how to be engaging. This is where we're actually going to have a little bit of work, but I'm going to start with some questions. So what makes you watch a video on social media? If you want to drop into the chat box, what makes you watch a video on social media? We talked about already that the algorithm basically shows us videos because our eyes are drawn to moving objects. So that's one of the reasons why we watch videos on social media. Another reason that we've talked about already is because we're looking for information on a specific topic. We want to learn how to grow microgreens. So we are searching for videos on how to grow microgreens. It might be because we really just are genuinely interested in a person and what they have to say. You know, we might follow a celebrity on social media and they go live and we are watching what they have to say because we just want to know, you know, we want to feel that connection to that person and we're curious about it. Seeing a friendly face, exactly. So like your friend is going live or somebody who you do business with, they're going live and you just want to go and see what they're up to and you're just curious about it. To learn something that I'm interested in and be entertained while doing so, definitely. When we're watching videos, we talked about earlier, a lot of the times we're watching videos because we're bored, we have idle time, and we are just basically trying to fill our time and we want to be entertained. And also, I think it's worth mentioning, you know, like when we're watching video, it's kind of also similar to the sensation of watching television. And we have definitely been trained, especially in America, that when there is video, that we will be getting entertained in some fashion. Jim says closed captioning helps identify if I want to click on the video to watch in entirety. Since most videos start muted in regular social media platforms, it takes extra effort, but may yield more views. Excellent point, Jim. And we have some slides about closed captioning later on. I would also say, like, if you're posting to your Instagram story, you don't have to use closed captioning. You can just type out, in general, this is what I'm talking about. And then, like Jim says, then that helps people know if they want to click in to actually listen to what you're saying or not. Also, the name of the video, the title that you give your video, that helps people make that decision too. And then also sometimes the caption underneath the video can provide further context as well. All right, what your biggest fear is, like pretty much everyone said, your biggest fear is looking stupid. And like, I get that. It's really, it's a huge barrier, especially for going live when we can't edit later. You know, we are all worried we're going to say something wrong. We're going to look stupid. We're going to look foolish. People will be laughing at us. If you run a small business in a small town, you might have worries like people are going to think that I'm too big for my britches, I'm taking up too much space. They'll be talking about me at the grocery store. These are the kinds of things that we get into our head, and it prevents us from making connections with other humans, sharing knowledge that we are the only one who can share it in the way that we can share it. And it also just, it prevents us from being able to shine our own light ourselves out into the world. And so I ask, my follow-up question is, have you ever watched a video where the speaker made a mistake? I think pretty much everyone has seen somebody make a mistake. I've done lots of presentations, workshops, teaching. I have made many, many mistakes in front of live audiences. And still to this day, one of the things, I've been doing this for 10 years, and still, if I make a mistake in front of a live audience, I sometimes still get that feeling of like, oh my gosh, everything is rushing at me and my vision is closing in and I feel like such a stupid person and I can't believe I made that mistake, and then get off the video and just be mean to myself. Not helping anybody. You're getting on video to help people, to help your business, and you're going to make mistakes. You just will. Like, I have seen so many people make mistakes, like seriously glaring errors in videos, and it doesn't hurt their business, doesn't make people think that they're stupid. It might make some people think that they're stupid, but do you want those judgy people to be supporting your business anyway? I don't know. I mean, you want to work with people who are there to be your cheerleader and watch you succeed. And the people who are really invested in your success, they don't care if you drop your phone while you're doing a live, no big deal. I've got a funny story, which is that one time I was on a group conference call and somebody went to the bathroom and forgot to turn their camera off. That's a mistake. So, she bounced back from it. It was no big deal. We all laughed and moved on and finished the call. So that's literally one of the most embarrassing things I could think of happening. Just keep that in mind when you're thinking like, oh, I'm going to make a mistake on this video. You probably didn't carry the camera into the bathroom and forget to turn it off. So there you go. And if you have seen somebody make a mistake, what did you think of that person? So hopefully you are also a very nice, accepting person who wants to see other people succeed in life, and you are not pointing and laughing at people when they make mistakes, but you're just like, oh, that's life. We all make mistakes. And the other thing I'll tell you, a lot of time, you made a mistake, no one else will notice, especially if you're talking about something that you're a topic expert on and you get the date wrong or you get the name wrong, or you invert the words because you're nervous. A lot of people won't notice. And basically, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? Somebody will comment on it, and then you can respond to that comment and you can say, oh yeah, you're right. I can't believe I made that mistake. Move on. No big deal. Really doesn't have to be a big deal. Okay, so this was another video that I had pulled up. And this is a vlogger. She's a vlogger. She actually has 2 YouTube channels. Her name's Catherine Manning. I really, really love this YouTuber. She's very helpful if you're trying to get ideas about ways you can hold the camera and what kind of equipment to use and that kind of stuff. I think that she has some really helpful advice. You don't have to do everything that she says, but she's a really good resource. And so I just wanted to share a few minutes of this video.
think that's better. Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about vlogging, how to vlog.
Okay, so that was basically it. This is obviously a 15-minute video, but I just wanted to give you a sense of like her vibe. This is a professional YouTube person. She makes her entire income from YouTube. She made $200,000 on YouTube last year, and has actually like hired people to help her and all of this kind of stuff. And what she does when she comes onto her video is she's like, I've got a bump in my hair and I'm like, got a pimple on my face and I'm drinking my coffee and I'm sitting down and like, I'm a real person. That's basically the point. We're all people. We make mistakes. We have bumps in our hair. We have pimples on our face. We mix words up. It happens. It happens to everyone. So basically, the point is don't take yourself too seriously. I think especially Iowans and like Midwesterners, we just get like, oh my gosh, people are judging me. And, you know, Iowa's got some judgmental people. I'm not going to say that there aren't judgmental people here, but just don't let that stop you from putting yourself out into the world. Look at this guy. Carry yourself with the confidence of this man with his red sunglasses, and you will be fine in life. It's no big deal. And then I had to throw in a Brene Brown quote. If you're not familiar with Brene Brown and you struggle with if you struggle with perfectionism, I highly recommend that you find her books and read them, or even search for her on YouTube and watch her TED Talks. She talks a lot about perfectionism. And what she says is imperfections are not inadequacies. They are reminders that we're all in this together. So remember at the beginning, we talked about why is social media important? It helps us to create connections with our customers, and it helps to show that we are human and make connections with other humans. And we're all humans here on Earth doing our human things, and we're making mistakes and we're doing it together and we're supporting each other in doing it. So that's basically my pep talk for all of you about why you shouldn't worry so much. And then to get to some just like businessy kind of stuff, and out of my like soft-hearted person kind of stuff. But basically, you know, make an outline before you get on your video, but don't make too much of an outline before you get on your video. And here's why. So the pros of making an outline before you get on a video is that there's less chance that you're going to forget what you're going to say, that you're going to get off track and you're not going to remember everything you know. That's why I have slides, because I'm talking for a long time and I don't want to forget what I want to tell all of you. And it helps you to be more confident in knowing what it is that you're going to say. And especially the first few times that you go live or make a video, you'll probably find that having some kind of outline to reference will be really, really helpful. Some of the cons of having an outline is that you can sound like a robot. You can sound like you have no personality because you're just reading something off of a page. And so that's where I say don't get too detailed. If you're going live or you're making a video, I'm under the assumption that you're talking about something that like you know about. It's probably something that you talk to your friends about. It's probably something you talk to your customers about. And you probably don't need a lot of notes. You probably already know, once you're in the zone and talking, you know what it is that you're going to talk about. Another con of using an outline is that you might not make enough eye contact. Remember that part of the reason why we like to watch videos is because we feel connected to another human, and we don't feel connected to that person if we're not making eye contact. So if you're reading something off of a screen or a piece of paper and you're just like looking at every single thing that you wrote down because you want to say it perfectly, you're missing out on that human connection. And so you could be over prepared. You could go way too in depth and be like way talking over people's heads. And just remember, like, you're the subject matter expert showing up for this video, and the people that you're talking to, they don't know all of the stuff that you know. So like you are offering even something that seems like not insightful at all to you, like maybe the fact that there are different kinds of carrots, that's like not a revelation to you. that might be a huge revelation to other people. So like, you know, you don't need to have tons and tons of stuff that you're going to talk about. And this is something I really struggle with. And then you also might lose agility. So you might, Lisa says she loves Catherine Manning. I love Catherine Manning. She's so good. You should definitely go check out her YouTube channel after this. But anyway, potential to lose agility, like if you are too planned out on what you're going to say, then you might not be able to answer questions if people put questions in the comments and that kind of stuff. So what I think is best personally, and this is where we're actually going to get into an activity, is loose bullet points work best. And what I have found works best for me, this is for me, this might not be for you, but I'm going to ask you to try it, is Post-it notes. And I have found that one Post-it note will take me about 5 minutes usually. Sometimes a Post-it note, I could talk off of that for 15 minutes or more, depending on what it is that I'm talking about. But when you're getting ready to go live, you're getting ready to go and do any kind of video recording, but especially if you're going to go live, I would say, or if you're going to make a short form content video and you're just trying to communicate something pretty quickly, like get out a Post-it note. What are the 3 to 5 things you want to make sure that you say to people? And that's it. You know, you're not going off of that Post-it note and you're not writing lots of notes to yourself. You're just saying, these are the 3 things that I'm going to talk about in this video. And I'm going to write it on a Post-it note. So, okay, so this is the activity, is that I am going to set a timer. If you have a Post-it note near you, I would invite you to grab your Post-it notes and a pen. And if you don't have a Post-it note, then just find a little piece of scratch paper or your phone, but just try to keep in mind, like, how much information could I actually fit on a Post-it note? And in like fairly large writing, because let's keep in mind, you're going to be looking at this while you're also looking at your phone or your computer or whatever it is that you're recording on. So I'm going to set a timer for 5 minutes, and I invite you to write out on a piece of Post-it note what video you want to talk about, what you want to talk about in your video. So pick a topic, something that you can talk about without having a ton of notes. And what are the 3 to 5 things that you need to say, or even less than that? You might only have one thing that you write on your Post-it note, but try this out. And okay, so get the Post-it note, write it down. I'm going to set a timer for 3 minutes to do that. And then I'm going to set another timer for 5 minutes. And what I want you to do is I want you to use that Post-it note to actually record a video of yourself and see how long you feel like it takes you. You're only going to have 5 minutes. So how long does it take you to actually get through that information? And if you're not able to record a video right now, I would invite you to just time yourself, see how long it takes you to actually just talk freely without having lots of notes. You're just doing it by yourself. No one's watching you. So it's like no big deal. Okay, so 3 minutes, go ahead and start writing on your Post-it note. What's the video that you want to make? If you have any questions, please drop them in the chat box and I will answer them while people are working on writing their ideas down on their Post-it note. Okay. So if you participated in the activity, which I hope you did, if you have any questions, if you're like, I don't know if I'm doing this right, or I feel confused, please let me know by dropping it into the chat box. But I'm gonna assume that everybody was able to write down on their Post-it note some of their thoughts on what they want to talk about. So now I'm gonna set another timer for 5 minutes. And like I said, turn on your smartphone and use the camera to record yourself, or just set a timer and see how long it takes you to actually talk about the things that are on your Post-it note, and how confident you feel in just communicating on kind of the rough amount of information you were able to fit onto a Post-it note. So we're just going to try it out. So 5 minutes. And if you make a mistake, no big deal, because, no one can see you, and just like try it out, try it on, try to talk like you would if you were actually recording a video, and just see how it feels. And then we'll come back and talk about it. So 5 minutes, go off and record your video, or try to practice talking. And I'm going to drink my coffee while you do that. So you should be coming back to the screen if you're not here already. And I would love to hear how it went. If you have any thoughts in the chat box, or also if you want to come on and talk with your video on, you can also do that. But I would just love to hear what it was like to do the Post-it note method, if you felt like you had enough to say, too much to say, how long did you talk, and all of that kind of stuff. So Kathy says that she had problems getting her video to run, but otherwise went well. Marie said, I love the Post-it note concept. I'm also a huge lover of Post-it notes. Me too. Yeah. And the thing I also like about Post-it notes is that, like, if you're, I work at my desk. I know a lot of you don't work at your desk. I'm at my desk a lot. So I have Post-it notes sitting on my desk. And if I decide I want to go live, I can really quickly write something down on a Post-it note and not have to spend a bunch of time getting ready to go up on my video. And it's just like that tool that's right there that like gives me the ritual that I need to like get into the like, I'm going to go on video right now. And that's another thing I don't have incorporated into here, but if you're really uncomfortable being on camera, I would also encourage you to have some kinds of ritual that you do when you are going to record on your live video, where like you are you have something that you hold in your hand. That's a really popular ancient like public speaking technique, is that you have a paper clip in your hand, you have a rock in your hand, whatever it is, something to hold on to, and just keep yourself calm. Or if you have other things that you do that help you to be calm. I like to use a spray that I make that has a specific scent that I spray every time I'm going to go be on camera, because it just kind of helps me to get into that headspace. Andrew says, went well, 1.18 for 3 points. Good way to not overthink things. So I'm assuming you mean 1 minute and 20 seconds for 3 points. That's how long. Yeah. Okay. That's how long it took you. So, and I think that's great, because when you go live, you really only have to go live for 1 minute. That's all you really need to do. So if you've got a Post-it note and okay, it takes me about 1 minute to talk about whatever's on this Post-it note, then if you're going to go live, you better not have more than what's on that Post-it note if you're trying to just get on and get off pretty quickly. So yeah, the Post-it note just kind of helps you to stay on track without getting too distracted, and making sure that you have that comfort, the security, so that you'll remember what you're going to talk about, but also relying on your confidence in yourself, knowing that you have value to offer and what you're going to share with other people. Okay, so I have another activity. I think I might save that one for the end of this, and we'll come back to it. So going live, how to use your video and get views. So if you are on Facebook, and let's say you have 100 followers, less than 4% of your followers will see your posts. And that's actually down 2% from last year. It was 6% when I did another workshop last year. So it's dropped 33%, I guess. And so that would mean that 4 people would see your post on average, which is abysmal. And we have pretty much no control over it, because the overlords of Facebook control who gets to see what. But one of the best ways that you can get your content up into the feed is, well, first of all, when people see that, they're like, okay, well, I just need more followers. You know, I have 100 followers, I have 500 followers. Well, I just need more followers. That's not the right answer. More followers, definitely, that depending on your business, that can certainly be a good thing. But what you really want is highly engaged followers. And when I say you want highly engaged followers, you want people who are liking, commenting, sharing your posts. And actually, I would say those last two, commenting and sharing or watching with video, is more important than likes. On a video, like if you're posting an IGTV or you're posting a Facebook Live or something like that, you might not get that many likes. And we've all been really conditioned to go after and chase the thumbs up, to chase the heart, to chase the like. But with video content, people are watching. So they're not liking most of the time. They might be sharing comments, they might ask questions, but they're not necessarily liking. But what you want is you want to get a sense of what it is that you can offer your audience for content that makes them really excited and they want to hear more from you. And yeah, so rather than going after more followers, you want highly engaged followers. And in terms of engagement, Facebook video engagement stats show that 6% of video posts score above categories like photo posts, link posts, and status posts. So basically, this is just that engagement on videos is generally higher than other types of posts. And part of the reason why is that even if somebody just watches the first 10 seconds of your video, that still counts as an engagement because they viewed the video. So it actually doesn't really matter if they watch the entire video, as long as there is a video for them to watch and they watch a part of that video, that's still considered to be an engagement if they hit that play button. Versus like a post, just a singular post that has an image, they're counting engagements off of like likes, comments, and shares. So you get an additional engagement stat with videos. I will say that there's lots of info out there about how Facebook and Instagram have like totally overblown the amount of engagement that videos get because they want people to make videos. But the reality is that if you make a video and it's 1 minute and 100 people watch the first 10 seconds of it, that post will do better than a photo that it will be continued to be shown to people longer than a post that has like 5 likes. Even if those people who liked the post, the 5 people who liked the post, they are like actively engaging with the content versus a video where they maybe are just happen to be scrolling by and they watch part of it. It doesn't matter for the algorithm. They don't care. They just want you to make video. And native videos, which remember that means making a video like within the social media platform that you're sharing. So that would be like on YouTube, going live on YouTube, on Facebook, going live on Facebook, on Instagram, going live on Instagram. Native videos get 478% more shares on Facebook than videos from other sources do. So that means if you go to YouTube and you post a video and then you take the link to that video and you post it to your Facebook feed, you will get that much less engagement and level of importance through Facebook's eyes than if you were to just go onto Facebook and do a live video. So highly recommend, if you're primarily using Facebook, to do the Facebook videos within Facebook. But it's not to say that if you do it other ways that you won't have success. It's just that Facebook really prioritizes those videos that are made on its own platform. Especially like the link to YouTube, because what they want is for people to stay on Facebook. So anytime you're posting a link that's going to send them over to YouTube, you're going to get dinged for that, because they don't want people to go over to YouTube. They want people to stay on Facebook. And then the Facebook video average watch time is 10 seconds. So the most like valuable kind of content is right there at the very beginning. That's not to say that you have to talk right at the beginning and dump everything right there at the beginning, because if, like we've talked about, if through the closed captions, if through the description of the video, if through the title of the video, if just because of who you are, people are interested in watching the video, they'll watch past 10 seconds, and that's who you're actually making the video for. So don't get too caught up in the like, oh, first 10 seconds thing, because yeah, I mean, you can get into the mind thing of like, it's not even worth my time if people are only going to watch the first 10 seconds. Well, it is worth your time, because the algorithm, you will benefit strongly from posting the video. Plus, then you're making that like more vulnerable human connection with other people. So, and Marie says, even that 10 seconds is a touch to that customer audience. And that's exactly right. Just you showing up in their feeds, whether they're liking and stuff, it's still a touch. You know, if we, think about before we had Facebook and we were actually like engaging with ads and content all of the time, you drive down the interstate and you'd see billboards and billboards and billboards, and you weren't not like, consenting to engage with that content, but you were still receiving messages from these businesses all of the time. It didn't matter if you were, picking up your phone and making a phone call directly from that billboard, you were still seeing their brand, seeing their name, seeing what they were selling. And that's really what video kind of is. It's kind of the billboard of social media. It's just getting up into the feed. That's really the whole point. And what do you do about the bad, basically amount, like the number of people not seeing your content? I have 1,000 followers and only 4% of them are seeing my content. So what do I do about it? Well, one thing you can do is you can buy ads. Video ads are actually the cheapest right now. I think it's like 10% of the cost to run a video ad as it is to run other types of ads on Facebook right now. So that's one option. You can create shareable content, which is really what I am all about. So you can know who your audience is, you can make real human connections with them, and you can answer their questions so that they want to share your content with other people. The more people share your content, the more people comment on and engage in your content, the better you will do on social media. So it's really a matter of knowing who your audience is. It's so important. And then what to do about it? Repurpose your content. Reshare your own content. Remind people that you made the content. If you go live, you can still go on to your email list and let people know that that live video exists out there. They don't have to see everything right on Facebook. You can, this is why I'm such a believer in collecting emails. You can email people and let them know, hey, I did this video. You might be interested in checking it out. You can use other ways to get people to go and watch your content, and you want to do it over and over again. You want to have multiple avenues where people can come and watch your different videos. And like I said, embed your videos into your emails, your blog posts. You can do a live video on Facebook and you can upload that video. You can download the video and then upload it to your YouTube channel. You can go live on Instagram, download the video and upload it to your YouTube channel. People do this all of the time. So even though you're making the video, you're going live in one place, you can still download that content and share it out with additional people if you have people following you in other places. Okay. So earlier you wrote down on a Post-it note what some thoughts were, a rough outline of what you were going to share. So I would love to hear from some people what they wrote about on their Post-it note, what they wanted to talk about, and what they think the best way to share that video would be. So this is basically like workshop time. And so if you want to come up on with your video on and talk it out, or if you want to share in the comments what your video was about, how you think the best way to share that video is based on some of the different ideas, or if you're not sure what the best way to share that content would be, please let me know and I will try to help direct you to the right place. Andrea asked, how do you download video from Facebook? So from what I remember, there should be an option at the end, which if you're doing it through Zoom, you might not see. If you're doing it through Facebook, at the end, there should be an option to download the video file. If there's not, then there's different websites that you can go to. I can see if I can find this afterward and send it to Marie, because I don't think I have a slide about it. But there's different websites that you can go to where this seems super illegal. You can put links into videos and then it will download the file for you. So like if you posted something to, like I know I've had to do that with Instagram before, where I've shared a live video and then I wanted to download that video and share it to my YouTube channel, and I didn't download it right away. You can put the link for that in, and then this website will let you download that file, which seems kind of messed up because you can literally do it for anyone. So like I could go to the Healthy Harvest Instagram and get a video and download it to my computer. But it is an option that's out there. So if you do live video, that's a good thing to think about. Okay,
Yeah,
so yeah.
It's the one thing to note too, which I realized too late. Like we've done a couple of those interviews live, and then you mentioned to me that we should be sharing or saving these and putting them on our website. And through Zoom, of course, you could record like we are right now, but I never thought to do that because I was thinking, oh, this is live video. I don't need this for later. But now I'm wishing that I would have saved those so I could put them. And I mean, I found you can embed, you can get the link or whatever and probably embed it from onto your website, but I don't see how I guess immediately how to get it to actually download so you have a copy. Which brings me to a second question about this video situation. When I went to do the live this time, it gave me a warning before, I was using the Zoom and it gave me a warning, and it said something related to that you should use something like API or something like that. Yeah. Because the video wasn't going to be available or to use later, or something about upgrade. So when an upgrade happens, the video will no longer be usable or something. But it linked you to something about Facebook for developers, which I didn't have time to dig into. But I was just wondering, do you know anything about that? If that seemed like it was a situation that was happening because I was using it through Zoom. Yeah. But
I don't know off of the top of my head. That's something that I would have to go into Facebook and look at. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the whole thing with you can stream and broadcast your videos using Zoom, but there's so many barriers basically, because Facebook just really wants you to do it on Facebook. So
is there a way now? I know in the past there'd been a way for two people from different places to do it live? And is it back again that's available, or you still can only do live from one location?
That I don't know off the top of my head for Facebook. I know that, yeah, in the past, and I'm not sure if currently on Facebook, that you can invite somebody else to be on your video. I know you can do that on Instagram, invite another account. I think basically like it has to be maybe another account, you know, like you have to be able to invite that account to be on your Facebook Live. So I'm not sure off the top of my head. I know that you could do that. I guess I haven't done an interview on Facebook recently, so I'm not sure what everything that goes into that is. And this is kind of where we get into like, there's so many different technological considerations for how you're doing your video, what kind of equipment you have, what platforms you're on, that like basically YouTube or the social media platforms, help pages themselves are going to be your best bet, especially because rules change all of the time. So you just want to be like aware of that with whatever you're doing. And I have not seen any other like comments or questions about like your video that you're going to share. And I just like would really encourage you to think about using this time right now, because I know that we all have really busy lives and sometimes we get like off of the video and we are like, oh, I wish I would have asked that question, or I didn't get the feedback, or like I learned a bunch of stuff in that workshop, but then I didn't use it later because I didn't have time. So like this is your time to get feedback on that. So I would really encourage people to take advantage of the chat box feature. We have about an hour-ish left of our day, and I have quite a bit of content, but not a ton, not as much as we had in the first couple hours. And to be honest, I'm kind of running out of breath. So
well, I'll jump in. I'm Sophia. I'm actually from Tucson, but we are doing kind of similar work with farmers in the Tucson area. So I can share mine. I'll come up with a business idea. I think I would probably put my video on my Instagram versus a Facebook, because when I post on Facebook, I get like 2 likes. But if I post on Instagram, there's a lot more engagement. So that's kind of where I was thinking where I would start.
Okay, and what is your video about?
So my video is about improving your palate. So it's tapping into the smells that you know, the memories that you have around those things, and actually teaching that taste starts with your smell. And so it's a lot of smelling different spices and thinking about, okay, where did I first smell that? Or, oh, my mom used to cook with that all the time. And then, oh, okay, let's now together figure out what we can add to those spices. Should we put like cinnamon with something creamy, or should we bring anything a little bit citrusy? So, yeah.
Okay, so improving your palate using smell as the first way to improve your palate, talking about different kinds of tastes and like what all goes into that. And you said that you want to share on Instagram because your audience is more on Instagram, probably, it sounds like, more easily accessed through Instagram, which makes sense based on the kind of content you're talking about. And what kind of video do you think would be the best way to communicate about that idea?
I would probably maybe like do some sort of demo. And so it's like kind of walking people through the experience of, wow, I've never smelled star anise so closely, but here I am, like really figuring out what this reminds me of and what this smells like, what it tastes like. And, maybe it reminds you of, I really don't know what star anise is cooked with, besides like, I've done it with meat, I've brined with meat. So maybe it reminds you of like, Christmas time, pork dish or ham dish, and then kind of going based off of that. And then of course, encouraging eating local produce. So that would probably be like a like a quick 3-minute thing.
Okay. Do you think it'd be a few minutes?
It could definitely go longer, but it could be a teaser of like, oh, we can really break down what spices are available around you, and then making something better out of what's already around you.
Totally. So I think that, like, are you thinking you would do it as like an IGTV video?
Yeah, I think so. And like probably pick up on like the crushing sound of the star anise, or the I don't know, my breathing noises maybe as I'm smelling it.
Okay.
I
so
know that. Yeah. Go
no,
ahead.
go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say that smell, like people love the sounds on videos, and so really, really hyping that up. I don't have a microphone, but
Yeah.
try to capture those sounds as much as possible.
Yeah, we'll talk about microphones later, but so when I hear that idea, I hear like weeks of content. I hear like maybe there's an IGTV component where you are saying on your story, hey, I'm going to be doing a live on this date and time about how to improve your palate through taste. It's a free workshop. That's what I hear when you're talking about that. I hear free workshop. I hear like tremendous value add for people. And then taking that and breaking it up into reels and having a reel that's on different scents. So like Star Anise has that licorice kind of smell. And also maybe you could even talk about like the like bitter taste and like that kind of stuff, like that connection between the taste and the smell, breaking it out into different kinds of tastes. So like maybe there's a citrus one, maybe there's a star anise one, maybe there is a paprika or spice kind of one. I hear lots of content. Like basically when you're talking about that, I'm like, yeah, you could do a reel every single week on a different taste for 6 weeks. And then you could say, hey, if you've been watching my reels, I'm going to be doing an IGTV live, and I'm going to be doing an Instagram live, and I would love for you to come with your questions. You could do each week you could have your reel, like you post your reel on Monday talking about a specific taste, and then maybe every Friday you go live and you're showing yourself cooking and how you're blending different flavors together. You could, like for me getting into like business mindset, I'm like, you could make boxes where you put together curated tastes. And if, hey, you're watching this video, you don't want to go out and find all of these ingredients, you can order this off of our website. And like every week or every other week, there's a different option for people to order like pre-combined sets. Those are some of the things that come to me. And then also there's the story component of making the video by going onto your story and saying, just reminding people, hey, we're doing this. Or something that I like to do too is like, I'll post a reel, and the reel is very basic, more visually interesting kind of stuff. And then I will go on to my Instagram story and I'll provide additional context through video there. So for the people who are interested in learning more, and then send them to, hey, I'm going to be doing this webinar on Zoom later this week, and you can sign up at the link in my profile, or I'm going to be doing an IGTV live video on Friday, and I'd love to see you there. So that's how I could see something like that seriously becoming like weeks of content, if not really the basis for an entire account and how you run your content. Yeah. Do you have any questions or any thoughts on any of that?
Well, as you were talking, you reminded me of the Manning video where there's a lot of behind the scenes and like packing things, and people love that stuff. I don't know why. They do. I do.
Yes, exactly. Well, yeah. And even with that, like having, maybe multiple reels, one is like crushing the spice. One is about like putting the spice in with other spices and blending them. And then another one is about like memories. What are the memories that personally that scent brings up for you, that taste brings up for you, and telling a little story about that, and then opening up that vulnerability through your Instagram stories, or also through a reel or another kind of video, or even posts. You know, maybe you have your reel and then you have a post where you share some more like written out insights that are more telling that story in a way that like maybe the video isn't as good for. So hopefully that helps you and other people listening for ways of thinking about how all of this stuff like links up together. Okay, I think we maybe have another person who wants to get feedback. Maybe. Someone else has their video on. Okay, yeah, I can hear you.
I'm originally from Oklahoma, but I live in Kansas City right now, and I'm the outreach Vista for New Roots for Refugees,
Okay.
like a refugee training farm in Kansas City. And we have Facebook and Instagram, and we're active on both. I'm more interested in Instagram, but that just maybe be because of my age. And so I was wondering if you think, so I'm thinking about doing a series of like stories or like live broadcasts about our weekly CSA, like the packing of the CSA, and like giving people a sneak peek about what their CSA boxes are going to be. Obviously when the summer starts. Do you think it would be like best to like kind of experiment in the beginning and just see which one gets the more results, like Facebook over Instagram? Because in the past, like our reach is like way bigger with Facebook, but our engagement, like the ratio of engagement is a lot lower.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that's really common.
Yeah.
Facebook, well, especially in the last couple of years, Facebook has kind of really like gone in the tanker a little bit.
I kind of hate it there.
Yeah, especially for engagement, like you're saying, I think that you get way better engagement on Instagram. Yeah, I would say that the approach is going to be different probably, you know, between Facebook and Instagram. I think for me, when I hear like behind the scenes unpacking a CSA box, what first comes to my mind is just like going live on Facebook, just doing a live on Facebook. Whereas on Instagram, it might be more like a combination of story, static pictures on the story, you talking or like unpacking on the story, question boxes where people can, you know, ask questions and that kind of stuff inserted in with the videos or the images. But also I think you could do some of that stuff on Facebook too. I mean, I think Facebook stories, that's something that a lot of people aren't really taking a lot of advantage of. But when you get on Facebook, the first thing you see is the stories, and not that many people use them. So I think that you can do like that also on Facebook, doing like the behind the scenes story kind of post there. Maybe you're like recording some of it on Instagram, downloading it, and then sharing it on the Facebook story after you've done everything on Instagram, because I feel like it's a little easier to do it on Instagram than Facebook. But yeah, those are some of the things that I think of like off of the top of my head. And like featuring, definitely, I think another really important part of behind the scenes for CSAs is not only the packing of the boxes, but showing people how the food is cooked, especially for the kind of farm that you're talking about. What I'm familiar with that we have in Iowa is that they are growing, you know, things that would be native to their homelands. And so there's a lot of foods that we're not familiar with here in the United States. And so I think that talking about like how those ingredients are used and that kind of stuff, that's so important for what you're talking about, showing how those foods are actually used and talking about the taste. What do they taste like? Comparing them to other things. And I feel like too, even doing videos just like on one specific ingredient, you know, and doing like an Instagram video or a Facebook video, whatever it is. But your question was basically, you know, should we just experiment? Yeah. I mean, I think experimentation is basically really where it's at. I think if we get too married to doing things one way, then the algorithm changes, or some new social media platform buys out another one or whatever, and then everything changes. So like, we always have to be adaptable in the way that things are most effective. It shifts. But I think, yeah, I would definitely consider using the story feature on both Facebook and Instagram for behind the scenes kind of content.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but then you also get into the, like, if you're talking about a specific ingredient, that's going to be something that people are going to want to have access to after 24 hours. And so maybe there's like the sneak peek, like, okay, here, this is what's coming to me. You have a story post where you're like, okay, we're going to talk about this specific ingredient. I'm just going to say mustard greens as an example. So we're going to talk about mustard greens on the story. These are mustard greens. Look how beautiful they are. I like to use these in egg dishes, whatever. And then you can direct people to, if you want to learn more about how to cook with mustard greens, go to the link in our profile and find our recipe download or whatever. And then maybe within that, there's a page that has longer videos that talk about the history of mustard greens, what's the country that's the original country that mustard greens come from, what is the top 3 ways that you cook with mustard greens. So it's like you've got your short form content and the story that then is directing people to potentially to your website, where they will find longer form recorded content. And then maybe
yeah, we have like a recipe section on our website, but I never thought about putting videos on it. So that's a really good idea.
Yeah. Or also interviews with your farmers, you know, and them telling the stories and that kind of stuff too.
Yeah. We get the most engagement from videos like with the farmers.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, it's kind of hard because most of them don't speak English, but
yeah.
But
yeah, and I feel like I had one other thing that just came to me as I was talking. Like an email series where for people who are new CSA subscribers, or maybe even considering purchasing the CSA, you have a drip email sequence where people get video or like an email on, you know, your top 5 ingredients that people talk about loving in the CSA. Each week for 5 weeks, they get an email where they have access to a video of a farmer, they have access to a recipe, they have access to a free download, whatever that is, but they have access to a page that goes really in depth on just this single kind of ingredient and incorporating video throughout that process. Mm-hmm. Great examples, great questions. All right, I think that's everyone that had a idea, and Marie says, and those are pieces that can be captured in the off season. Exactly. So, you know, we can think about in the winter time, what is the content that needs to be created to support the kind of content that I'm going to create later. And the other thing that I'll say about this is, like, I love layered content. Obviously, I love, you know, like reels that build into a longer video and things that, like, everything's directing you to this like other thing, this sequence that people are going to move through. But you don't have to make everything all at once. I'm like the worst when it comes to this, because I'm like, oh, this idea, and then this connects to this idea, and this connects to this idea, and I want to make everything all at once. And then I'm going to post about it, but like, don't do that. You know, make your video. Like, so for example, I just did a launch in the fall. And so I went on and I was talking about what I was working on like my Instagram stories, sharing posts about it to my Instagram, that kind of stuff. And then I was like, I don't know if people really know about this like herbal remedy that I'm talking about. So I'm going to do a free webinar about it, and I'm going to record it. So I did a free 1-hour webinar where I talked about some of my products, gave people like background info, and it was like a mid-level kind of sales strategy. And then I collected people's email addresses. Well, actually, so I did the video on Instagram first. I went on, I did a live video. I basically did this like free workshop. Then I downloaded that video and I used that to be a basis for, I basically realized doing the live video, I could talk about this for way more than 20 minutes. So I did a free webinar, got email addresses for people to come to that webinar, and then I turned the live video into videos on YouTube and took that webinar. I put the live videos up on YouTube and then used them to get people to sign up with their email address to get free instant access to this pre-recorded webinar that then I'm talking more in depth about all of these things. So it's like every step that they go in your content, you're giving more information, more knowledge, but you're also selling more. You know, the deeper they go, the more you're selling. So yeah, but I didn't think, basically my point is I didn't think when I was doing this product launch that that's what I was going to do. I responded as the information was coming to me. And then I made additional content to kind of answer the kinds of questions that I was getting from people. And my content became richer. And then I had more pieces to create this launch around the longer it went on. Okay. All right, we're doing great. So I've talked about this a lot, repurpose your long videos. You can repurpose your long videos by embedding them or incorporating them into your blog posts, into some kind of like email where you're reminding people to watch your live video, incorporating it into some kind of educational series, incorporating it into a Facebook or Instagram story by saying like, resharing your long video or saying, hey, if you want to watch this video, head to the link in my profile, head to this link to watch more on this specific topic. Always reminding people of what kinds of content you have out there already, not getting worried that they're going to get bored with your content, because remembering that like whatever 4% of the people are seeing the content that you're sharing anyway. And so a lot of people have probably missed it. And if they saw it the first time around, they maybe want to rewatch it or share it again, or just be reminded. So don't be afraid to share things more than once. And then I talked about another way to repurpose long videos that I love is to turn a live webinar into a paid recording or asking for an exchange of some kind, which would be getting their email address. And then repurpose short videos, giving them a new life by basically stretching out the amount of time it takes to tell a story. So like, let's say that we've made 5 reels and they're all interconnected. And then on my Instagram story, I'm going to share one day, here's all the reels that I've done on this specific topic, or here's all of the short content that I have on this specific topic. And you could flip through and go through all of these things and learn a bunch about this on like a broader level. So stretching out the amount of time that it takes to talk about everything. Or like I talked about earlier, you might do a video and then realize you could talk about it for longer. So then you've already made that one video, great. Now make another video and go longer. You can give them a new life by making a regular series. So you do a video where you're talking about one ingredient, it does really well. So then you do additional videos about different ingredients, and maybe you do that every week, or you do it every other week. You're highlighting a tip in a blog post or like a podcast or whatever it is. You're just doing a quick insight, quick kind of thing. Then I guess what I'm getting at here is that, like, let's say that you do a reel where you're sharing a quick tip on like how to use an ingredient, and then later you decide you're going to do a blog post. So like, we'll go back to my carrots. Let's say that you do a reel that's about carrot varieties. Later you decide to do a blog post about storage crops, and then you take that reel and you embed it into your blog post. So you're giving additional content there and you're getting more views through the blog post. and then repurpose them by sharing them to your social media. Because like sometimes this seems like really basic, but sometimes we make reels, we make posts, we do this stuff, and then we don't share it to our story, especially on Facebook. We don't share stuff to the story, but that's how Instagram works. So like I've made this content, I'm relying on the algorithm to get it out there for people. Well, some people only look at stories. So I need to remember, I need to tell people that this post exists on my feed. So remembering that, that's a really easy thing, but I think it's easy to forget that. Okay, tools and techniques. Whew, so much stuff. So what is your biggest roadblock to using video to market your business? This is one of the questions that we asked. And basically a lot of people said, I don't know how to make a video. I don't know how to do like the technical side of things. And we kind of talked about this with Andrea earlier in her question about like Facebook and API and all of that kind of stuff. Every platform has its own things. So I can't help you with all of the little things. I would really highly suggest that you go to the social media platform itself to learn about some of that stuff, because their developers have made videos and pages and like all of this kind of stuff to help you with that. Also, YouTube is like your biggest friend when it comes to learning how to do really anything under the sun, but especially for social media. If you have a question, highly recommend going to YouTube and searching it. You will probably find an answer to your question there. So what I'm going to be talking about today is what you need to think about when you're editing, what you need to think about when you're recording, what are some of the tools that I like, the tripod that I would really recommend that you get, and then basically afterwards, how do you deal with like the technical aspect of disseminating your video out to other people, and also how long should it take to record a video. So like I said, for recording your video, YouTube is your friend. So search for, if you're having a problem with your cell phone, you're having a problem with your camera, go to YouTube, search for your cell phone recording video, your camera recording video. There will be lots of people who have probably had this exact same problem that you're having, and they will be able to help you way faster than I'm going to be able to help you today. But basically the three things that you're probably thinking about recording a video on would be a smartphone. I think almost every single person on this has a smartphone. Smartphone's probably the easiest way to record a video. Lots of smartphones have better cameras on them now than like some of the cameras you can go buy at the store are. So if you have a smartphone, you already have probably a really good camera for recording video. Storage is an issue for sure for a lot of people. So that's where like getting those videos uploaded and out there so that they're not taking up space on your own cell phone is a good idea. If you're making lots of video content, you might want to invest in getting an external hard drive to share your video in case something were to happen to it, especially for your more evergreen content videos that you're going to be sharing for, hopefully years to come. That's something to consider. To be perfectly honest, I don't have an external hard drive and I probably should, but we're all doing our best out here in 2021 with everybody has to become a vlogger. So if you don't have a smartphone, or you do have a smartphone, some of the other things that you might be using would be a webcam on a laptop, which is what I'm using to record this right now. So most laptops have a webcam built in. Webcam video is not going to be as high of quality as like a smartphone most of the time. So that's just something to keep in mind. It might make a difference. It might not make a difference depending on what kind of video you're recording. And then the other option would be a vlogging camera. And so that is something that you're probably looking at making an investment between $500 and $2,000 into a vlogging camera setup. GoPro also makes a vlogging camera now that I think is like $300 or $400. So that's another option. But honestly, I would say for most people, for the kind of stuff that we're talking about today, a smartphone is probably your best bet, and you can get a smartphone for really the same cost or less of what it would cost you to get a vlogging camera. And will probably get just as good of, if not better results, and potentially save yourself some major headache and time. Okay, you should get a tripod, whether you are using a vlogging camera or you're using your cell phone. I would highly recommend getting a tripod like I showed you earlier, one like this that has flexible legs. It really is nice. Because you can use it to attach your tripod to different things. You can really easily change the height that your tripod is at. So something like this is really great. You can also get tripods that are like handheld tripods where it wouldn't have this kind of leg. It would just be like one stick, and then you would put your camera up in here and then hold it like this. Selfie stick, that's basically what they are, selfie sticks. So that's another option if you're going to be like out in the field doing video, you know, like this kind of situation. You can, I personally, I have two different kinds of tripods. So I have three different kinds of tripods. So I have the selfie stick kind, I have this kind, and then I also have the first tripod that I ever got, which I think I paid like 50, 60 bucks for from Best Buy, and it has retractable legs. And so this is something that, like, if I am going to go someplace that's like not my office, not a place that I am recording in very frequently, and I want to have a really stable camera, and I'm probably going to be moving further away from the camera than I would be in this, using this kind of situation. This kind of taller tripod is really helpful. And the biggest thing with tripods is you just want to understand how the attachments work. So if you're using a cell phone, you want to have an attachment that has like this kind of opening thing. But other tripods, they will have usually some kind of attachment like this. And this is where your camera screws on to the top. And so most tripods that are made for cell phones will have both of these options. So like you can see, I just took this off of here, and now I could take my camera and I could attach it to this. Of course, my camera would absolutely tip this over, which is why I have the bigger tripod for when I'm using a bigger camera. But yeah, tripods, they're not super expensive. They're incredibly useful. Highly recommend getting one if you're doing any kind of video. You'll just find the entire process to be so much easier if you have one, because you're not setting your phone up against a thing of poker chips, which is what I'm looking at right here, to like stabilize it, you know. And then your audio will probably be better because the bottom of your phone where the audio is coming in, it won't be obstructed like by the table or something like that. So definitely would recommend getting a tripod. A light. There's lots of different kinds of lights. You can spend hundreds and thousands of dollars on lights. I know a lot of people don't like ring lights, but I think that they're still really useful. And so a ring light is just like what you've probably seen them out there. And you can see like this ring light actually comes with a tripod attached to it already. And then it has a little opening where you can put your phone into it. And this is basically the same thing, but it's taller. So I have a ring light like this. I don't actually put my phone into it most of the time, because what happens is then you have the light shining directly on your face. And I'm just going to flip forward and we'll come back to the ring light thing here. But so like in this situation, you can see that they have two ring lights and they are on either side, because what you want generally with lighting is like indirect lighting, especially if it is a ring light. Because if you put this ring light right in front of you and you put your camera inside of it, what you're going to find you will have is, if you have glasses, you'll have that ring light reflected right in your glasses. if you have any kind of oil, like I kind of have oily skin. And so then it's like, look at my oily forehead. And the light is just reflecting off of my face. So what I like to do for myself is I usually record my videos next to a window. And then I put my ring light on the other side so that I'm getting 2 light sources coming at me versus one right in front of me that's shining right in my face. Also, ring lights and lights in general get pretty hot. So if you need to have a light, you really don't want it shining directly on you because it just gets uncomfortable and you get sweaty and it's not fun. So you'll find that you'll get better light if you have a couple light sources. So you might have a couple lights, like a couple ring lights, or like me, you might use a window. Some of you are recording outside and you don't need a light. So, you know, I also like with these ring lights, one of the reasons that I like them is that they usually have flexible, like they have an adjustment. So like if you're taking product photos or something like that, you can adjust the angle that the light is at, and that can give you, you know, just a variation in terms of how your products might look. And I use ring lights for taking product photos. I usually take my product photos in a sunny room with an additional light source like a ring light shining from an angle onto the product photo rather than having the light shining directly at the product photo. So yeah, ring lights are really useful. They're super cheap. You can get a ring light for like 50, 60 bucks on the internet or Best Buy or whatever. And I would say that that's the kind of light that I usually use. And Marie dropped an example phone tripod option. And this is just more about like indirect versus direct lighting. This is something that, like, honestly, if you're not really thinking about it the first time that you make a video, you will probably find that the light isn't exactly the way that you want it to be. It's no big deal. You know, you want to go for crisp and clean lighting as much as you can, and you will get that from that indirect light versus direct light where you're going to get those hot spots, or it can, yeah, plastic looking is definitely one of the things that I would say direct light. So, you know, you don't want to take like your desk lamp and shine it directly at your face and give yourself that much kind of direct light, because that's not going to give you the more high quality video. Like at that point, it's kind of like you don't even maybe want to use a light. So yeah, lighting is really important, especially if you're recording indoors. And another thing that I like about having a ring light or some kind of light that I have available to me to record is that, like, in Iowa, it gets dark at 4 o'clock in the winter, and then I lose that many hours that I could potentially be recording content or making video. So if I have a light or a couple lights, it just makes it so that if I decide I want to do a video, I don't have to worry about the lighting. So super helpful. Sound is another thing that is so important. You could have a video with really terrible lighting that you're taking like in front of your couch at night. And if the audio is good, it won't matter. But if the reverse were to happen, you have beautiful, very well captured video with horrible audio, then people will be not willing to listen to it. So audio is really important. There's a few different options for audio, and what I started with was I just had a lavalier mic that plugs into my cell phone, and you can clip it onto yourself. There's also wireless options of this that are Bluetooth. So you could have a Bluetooth microphone that attaches to your phone or connects to your phone and record that way. These little microphones that plug directly into your phone, they're like $20 or $30, and they make a tremendous difference for the level of sound quality. Most of the like really new cell phones, the ones that are coming out like this in the last couple of years, they usually have much better, like higher quality audio than some of the older smartphones did. But I still personally, even though I have a newer cell phone, I still use a microphone. I actually now use this microphone, which is the Fifine microphone, and this is a USB microphone that plugs into your computer. I do the vast majority of my video recording from my cell phone though. So what I have done, because I'm an Apple user, is I have purchased an adapter where the USB plugs into this, and then this is what is the lightning cable that plugs into my phone. So I can use this nicer, higher quality sound microphone, plug it into my cell phone, and get really nice video from my phone camera, and then really high quality audio from this microphone. And that works really well for me. I do a lot of video and podcasting now, and I think this microphone was like $100. That was an investment that made sense for me with where I'm at with creating content. But for you, you might just be interested in getting a small microphone that plugs into your cell phone. Or also, I've talked a lot about cell phones, but these types of microphones, they just plug into a headphone jack. So if you have a headphone jack on your laptop, you could also use it for recording webcams and stuff like that. And then if you really want to go for it, you could get a Rode microphone or a microphone that would attach to like your vlogging camera. And like I said, I'm assuming most of you are going for like fast, easy, cheap. But if you want to invest thousands of dollars into your vlogging setup, that's the kind of microphone that you would probably be looking at getting into. But basically a USB microphone or a microphone that plugs into a head jack or a lightning cable is going to work for most people. Okay, I think that, oh yeah, and Aaron, who is also a photographer and videographer, posted that he likes BH Photo Video, which I have also heard that that's a really great place to buy equipment from. So that's a great place to look to if you're trying to avoid buying stuff from Amazon, which is where a lot of people probably buy this stuff from. All right, appearance. I just want to talk about this really quick. Obviously, one of the things about going on video is like, what if I look stupid? What if I look ugly? What if I have like something on my face? That kind of stuff is definitely something that we have to think about when we're making content that is video in format versus like if you were just going to make a post and post it to Facebook, you're probably not worrying about like if you have your makeup or your hair or your favorite hat or what you're wearing or whatever. And it is definitely a barrier. I know for me, like if I'm planning to record a video on a certain day, the first thing I think when I wake up that morning, especially in COVID times, is like, I gotta brush my hair. I gotta put on a shirt. I've gotta get out of my pajamas. Maybe I feel like I have to take a shower. And so there's all of that kind of work that can go into making a video too. Not to say that, you know, video is only for beautiful people or whatever, because I definitely don't think that. I'm just speaking to the very real feeling that I think a lot of us have, which is like, a bunch of people are going to see me and I want to feel comfortable that a bunch of people are going to see me. And what I will say about this is that you will probably get more comfortable the more you do video, showing up on video in looking more disheveled. You probably, if you follow people on Instagram or even Facebook, influencers, or even just regular people, you'll see people popping on in their robes, in their curlers, in their, you know, dirty face, you know, whatever. And it's fine. But just want to also just like speak to that can be a barrier for people sometimes. So the first few times that you do a video, you might want to set aside a little extra time to make sure that you feel comfortable and confident, because like, basically just like, don't let it get in your way. Don't let the appearance thing get in your way. Whatever you can do to make yourself feel more confident on camera, like maybe that's the camera angle, even setting your tripod up a little bit higher so that it's looking down on you versus up your nose. That can definitely help make you feel more confident. So yeah, your appearance is definitely something that you might need to set some extra time aside for. It's not an absolute necessity, but for a lot of you, it might make me feel more comfortable. And so for that reason, I will often try to stack my recording. So if I'm gonna take the time to get dressed and do my hair and all of that, then I'm gonna record for like 2 hours and I'm gonna make a couple videos versus if I'm not thinking about my appearance, that's not so much of like a factor for me. And I'm just gonna jump on and it doesn't matter if my hair is kind of a mess or something like that. And I feel like I had one other thing I was gonna say about appearance, but it is escaping me. So yeah, don't let it get in your way. If it is, and so also like if I have meetings, like if I'm meeting with Marie and we're gonna be on Zoom and I have brushed my hair to be on that, then I might decide I'm gonna record a video right afterward because I'm already in my video space. Because like honestly, it takes time. If you're gonna use a camera and you're gonna like go to the effort of setting all of this stuff up, you wanna get the most out of it. So bulk recording and then scheduling your post for later too is a great way to just take advantage of your time. For editing, my biggest question is, do you need to edit? Do you need to edit your video? Most of you, I would say a lot of times you don't have to edit your video. If you're going live, you might cut off the little bit of chit chat at the beginning. You might, do that kind of stuff. But for the majority of the time, I would say you don't really need to edit your videos for posting stuff to social media. You might record small clips on your cell phone and then upload those directly into the social media platform. So you might just be cutting off, again, the beginning or the end, or just trimming the beginning and the end of the video. Most people can just do that right on their cell phone. They don't need to have fancy editing software to do that. Or a lot of times you can do it right in the app too, depending on what kind of video you're creating. So don't let the editing get in your way, because like for a lot of the kind of video that we're making for social media, editing isn't a factor. But if you want to make a video and edit it, iMovie, if you have a Mac, is included on your Mac and is a really wonderful and powerful video editing software that in all likelihood, you probably will never need to get something else. Adobe Premiere Pro is also very popular for video editing. If you're making like lots of informational YouTube videos and you want to have a really high quality video editing software, Adobe Premiere Pro is like, those are the Adobe suite. Those are probably some of the better things out there. And then this one is one I'm not familiar with, but it did come up as highly reviewed for PCs, and it's called CyberLink Power Director. And that looked like a more inexpensive option from what I could see on the internet. So if you're looking for video editing software, those are some of the things that you could look for. But like I said, you probably don't need it, unless you're making really long form content. And so I hope one of the biggest things that you take away from this today is, from the perspective of social media, spending more time on a video does not automatically equal a better video. You could spend a lot less time on a video and have a better outcome. So don't let like, oh, it's gonna take so much time and like all of this kind of stuff. Yes, the first time you make a video, it might take more time. The more you do it, the faster you'll get, the easier it will get. And you don't need to spend hours and hours and hours making a video. And so for the question of how long will this take, just last week, I have 2 videos that I made. One I made on YouTube. It was for YouTube. And for my weekly YouTube videos, I usually spend about an hour to 2 hours prepping what I'm gonna say, thinking about the topics I wanna cover in the video. I spend about 1 hour recording my 15-minute video, and I spend about an hour editing my 15-minute video. Versus last week, I also went live on Instagram. I just decided I was going to go live. So I spent no time prepping. Basically, you could say I spent a few minutes prepping because I was like, I want to go on Instagram and talk about this. But basically, there was no prep time. I recorded for 15 minutes. I didn't get caught up in perfectionism. I just let myself talk, answered questions that came up. And then I spent about 5 minutes editing at the back end where I was just trimming the video and adding my caption and the name and that kind of stuff. So basically same end result. I had a 15-minute video. One took me between 3 and 4 hours and one took me about 20 minutes. So this is like the power of going live. And you don't have to use every single live video to create evergreen content. But if you do a live and you feel really good about the information that you shared, why not? And so basically I get the end result either way. I can embed this YouTube video that I spent 4 hours on into this blog post, or I can do my live and I can embed that 20 minutes of time, that video, into the blog post. I'm not saying one is better than the other. I think that they both serve a purpose, but just really to drive the point home that you don't have to spend a lot of time on it. You can go live pretty easily. Okay, I have an activity at the end. I'll just come back around for that at the very end, I think. So the last few technical kind of things, closed captioning, which we've talked about a couple times already. 85% of Facebook users watch videos with the sound turned off, which is why, like on Reels, they put the little text overlay, or on TikTok videos, there's the text overlay, or on Instagram and Facebook stories, there's the text overlay, because we're basically going under the assumption that people are not actually going to be listening to what you're saying unless they decide that it's of value to them. So yes, closed captioning is definitely valuable. And there's, like I have talked about earlier, on all of the different social media platforms, you will find pages like this. This is the one from YouTube that talks about how to add closed captioning. There's an app called Pod Video that you can go and you have to pay for it. I think it's like $5, but you can add closed captioning to your videos and post them to your Instagram stories or Facebook or whatever it is. I also really like, this is not closed captioning, but I'm a big proponent in my push for creating evergreen content of transcribing your videos, which takes a lot of time and is kind of a pain in the butt. So I use a service called happyscribe.com, and you can pay for minutes and they will transcribe your video for you. And then you can take those transcriptions and turn those into blog posts. So like you might say in your video, if you want to read the notes, and if you listen to podcasts, you've probably heard this before. If you want to read the show notes, if you want to read the notes from this video, from this audio, you can go to my website and you can read the transcript of what I'm talking about here. So it's just another nice thing that you can offer to people. Plus, then you get the SEO, the search engine optimization from your transcription so that your content is more likely to be found when people are searching through Google. So yeah, basically closed captioning and transcripts are definitely valuable because people watch mostly videos with their sound off. That's one side. We're just going to put that one over here. We've talked about that. Also, it makes your videos more accessible for people who are deaf or hard of hearing. And so for that perspective, it is really valuable. So we've got that. The other perspective that I will just bring is that if closed captioning is the barrier between you making and posting a video and not, please just post the video and don't worry about closed captioning. You can always go and start doing closed captioning later. You can figure that out later, but just start making videos. Worry about this kind of stuff after you have kind of gotten more comfortable. And then, yeah, basically like use the tools available to you to give people a sense of what it is that you're talking about, whether that is putting a text overlay on your video or using the caption underneath your video to communicate what it is that you're going to be talking about. And also, okay, third thing that I'll just say about this is just to reiterate that it actually does not matter if people watch your video. Because even though just you posting the video will get you higher up in the feed and more people will see the rest of your content just as a result of you posting a video once a week. I would really recommend making a video piece once a week. If you can't do that, once a month or whatever, but the more video, ultimately, really, the better. But maybe not too much video because you might see your engagement as not as good if you don't have kind of a mix. But 47% of the value of a Facebook video ad is created in under 3 seconds, or the first 3 seconds of somebody watching a video. And also brand recall is 23% higher in Facebook video ads if the brand itself is featured in the first 3 seconds. So that's like your logo right at the beginning, you talking about your brand right at the beginning, say, hey, I am Ash from Amethyst Content Marketing. Or if you're wearing something that features your brand logo, branding, like just having those types of things incorporated when you're recording videos, especially if you're going to pay and make it an ad, you just want to know that that first few seconds is the most important. And then for Instagram, because we've spent a lot of time talking about Facebook, although I've incorporated a lot of Instagram stuff today too, but they've seen an 80% increase in the time that users spend watching videos on the platform. As somebody who uses Instagram for my business, I will tell you that that is in large part because they are making people watch video on their platform, but video is really important on Instagram too. But here, interestingly, engagement on video is overall lower than it is on image posts. So you're less likely to get lots of likes, you're less likely to get lots of comments and that kind of stuff, which can sometimes be a reason why people don't make video because they don't feel like they get as good of engagement. But what I would tell you, what I have seen is that if I make a reel every single week and I spend 30 minutes on my reel, I get it up there, then all of the rest of the content I make that week benefits as a result of me posting that reel. I get more likes and engagements on the rest of my content, even if that reel gets fewer likes than any of my other posts. The algorithm just factors in the fact that you're making those reels or making that video content, and it shows the rest of your content to more people. So, which I personally think is super messed up, but this is the reality that we're working within. So that's basically what I'm just trying to help you figure out, is what the reality of making video is. All right, so my last thing I will say, and then I'll open it up for questions, and then I have a little invitation for you to do. So I always like to end with this. I shared a bunch of stuff today. What works, what doesn't work, stuff to think about. Take what resonates with you for your business. You are most likely the person who's doing the marketing for your business or your organization. So you are the one who is the expert on who your market is, who you're trying to reach, where you're going to find them, whether that's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, whatever it is. You want to think about your listing. So when people search for you on the internet, whether they're searching on Google or they're searching on the social media platform themselves, how do they find you? And when they do find you, how do you appear? I always recommend going to your pages and looking at it, or getting an outsider perspective. When you go to my Facebook page, what do you see? What's the most important thing that jumps out to you? What do you think this business sells? What do you think this business does? What do you think this organization does? So you want to think about your listing, how you appear, and if the content you're creating is supporting that listing, how you want to be perceived by other people. You also want to think about what you like to do and what kind of content you will continue to create on a weekly basis. So if you don't really like making video, you might not make video every single day, but you might incorporate video once a week or once a month or whatever it is to just flesh out your content. You want to think about your voice. Who are you who is the person that's speaking on behalf of this operation, and how are you showing and showcasing your voice through the content that you're creating in your marketing strategy. And you also want to think about, like, what are you interested in? What makes you unique? And how do those unique qualities allow you to make real human connections with people who want to support your business? So when you take your answers to all of those questions, you're thinking about all of that stuff, in addition to all of the stuff that we learned about today and all of the marketing podcasts that you listen to and the marketing YouTube channels that you listen to, just remember that what works for one person doesn't work for everyone. So you got to find the thing that works for you and keeps you making content. That's the most important thing. All right. What questions do people have about all of this stuff? And also, there's contact information for me if you want to contact me about other stuff too. I'll wait and see if people have questions, and then I also have an invitation for you to do something after you get off of this video, and that'll probably be kind of like the rest of the time. So how do I feel about highlights? Yeah, I think that highlights are really useful. And so I assume that you're talking about Instagram highlights, the little buttons underneath your profile. And I think that highlights are really great for showcasing these are the things that you're going to find about and that you're going to find by following this profile. So this goes back to that concept of what is my listing? When people find me on the internet, what is their first impression of what I do? And am I accurately and adequately communicating that? So I think that having the different highlights should show, like, these are the 3 kinds of content buckets, or I just am throwing out 3. You can obviously have more than 3 highlights. But like, these are the content buckets. These are the kinds of things that I'm going to be focusing on and making sure that those are things that people are looking for when they're coming to follow your profile. And I think that in terms of video, like, yeah, including past stories, like if you've just gone on to your story and you're talking on a story and you save that to your highlight for people to go and watch later, I think that those are great things to have in there. I also think that highlights, like for me, the point of a highlight is to get people to either decide that they're going to follow me, decide that they are going to subscribe to my email. So I want to make sure in my highlights that I actually have asks for people to subscribe to my email, that I have like featured products inserted within those highlights too. So there should be a mix of like information sharing and also selling in those highlights. I hope that that answers your question, Colleen. And if it doesn't, then please let me know in the chat box. Aaron asked about Reels versus Stories. So Reels versus Stories. So there's like a lot of stuff I could say about this. I think for me, that question of, is this information time sensitive? Do the people watching this video have access to information that other people don't? For me, that's a story, because it's going up for 24 hours and then it's going away. I also think that stories, the purpose of stories is really different from Reels. Stories are really made for creating that vulnerable connection and showing people like the human that you are. Reels are more for sharing quick tidbits. So if I have like a quick tip, that's gonna make a better reel, especially because like that quick tip, if I'm sharing that quick tip now, is that quick tip going to be helpful in 3 months? Is that quick tip going to be helpful in 6 months? Then I want to make something that's more permanent. And that's where a reel is really great, because it's a permanent piece of content on your feed. Whereas a story is a temporary piece of content that goes away after 24 hours, unless you add it into your highlights. So those are some of the things that I think about when I think about reels versus stories. I feel like stories are so important. I think stories are important not just from video. I think that stories are important from for example, okay, like one of my businesses, I have about 500 Instagram followers, and I notice I have about 100 people watch my story every day. So those are like your big time supporters. They're also sometimes your lurkers and your haters. So that's kind of a double-edged sword with stories. But basically, like, just let's be positive and think about, all right, that's 1/5 of my audience that's like genuinely really interested in what I have to say. And I'm showing them insights and info and like building relationships, whereas reels are more like I'm sharing information. Does that make sense? It's like not as much about, I think like everything in social media is about relationship building, but I would say stories are like relationship building and reels are more like, hey, this is something that I know about.
Gotcha. Okay. So, and so reels don't disappear after. I've never done reels, but I've been doing stories a little bit more than I have in the past. So reels stay.
Yep.
Okay, so then why wouldn't you just do a video post like in your...
So for one thing, reels on Instagram are getting higher value than IGTV is.
Okay.
So reels are the highest value content right now. And there you will actually see when you're on Instagram that at specific times, you will only see reels. They will only show you reels because they want people to make them. Let's be clear, it is not because that is what the people who are on Instagram actually want. Most people who are on Instagram don't actually like reels. But if you want to get up in the feed, it's the fastest way to get your content seen more. And honestly, I was really against reels when they first came out, but I've actually kind of enjoyed making them because it's like, if you have a very simple idea, like a really common, it's like, if you have a question that can be answered in 15 seconds, a reel is perfect for that. Whereas if you have a question that you need to answer for 5 minutes, then you probably want to make a longer video. So does that kind of help answer the question of like, why would you make one versus the other? I also think that reels are really made primarily not to hear your voice. So that's something that I would think about too. Like, can I simply answer this question with a text overlay, or do I need to actually provide a lot of context for my answer to this question? I feel like a reel, you don't get as much time and space to add that context. So if you have a lot of context, you might want to do an IGTV video.
Okay.
But certainly, like, the other thing I would say about it is you can record videos ahead of time and then post them to IGTV.
Mm-hmm.
It is a pain in the butt.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's really better to just go live and then just share that video directly to your feed than to record ahead of time and upload it, because it's just like, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So then you get the benefit of the live and that boosting you up in the algorithm. Plus then you have that longer video, which hopefully you can use to repurpose into other things. So even if a lot of people don't join the live, you're still getting a lot of the benefits out of it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. What other questions do people have? Oh yeah.
I have one question. How have you made you've done your content, it was exciting because people were interacting with you, but then figuring out looking back at your content, how do you make looking back at that data exciting for yourself? Or do you check on it once a month, or how regularly?
How do I make it exciting for myself? Oh my gosh. I get snacks, I get a kombucha, I get, how do I make it exciting for myself and how often do I do it? So when I was like the marketing person for an organization, I did it monthly, and I would go back through the Facebook and Instagram posts and I would see, okay, how many, how many people liked and shared. Shares are always my top thing. So if I get 3 likes on a post, but it gets 1 share, that counts for more than a post that I had like 10 people like most of the time. You want to like, your audience and like who the people are. So like if there's like the one person who shares everything, like maybe not, but if it's like somebody who doesn't share very often and then you see that they have shared a post, that is probably more valuable because they are promoting your business for you. And so that's a really, really important insight and a really important piece of data. Another thing that I would encourage people to think about is that just because a post didn't do well doesn't mean it was bad content, doesn't mean that it wasn't worth anything, doesn't mean that you're a bad content creator, doesn't mean any of that. It could mean that you posted on the day when a national disaster happened. It could mean that you posted on a day when Facebook just so happened to only want people to look at this specific kind of content. And so they changed the algorithm. It could mean that you posted too early in the morning, too late at night, that kind of stuff too. But when I'm looking back on what has been successful, the kinds of things I like to think about are like, how easy was that to make? How much time did I put into it? And how good of results did I get from it? That's not to say that, if I didn't get the results that I wanted immediately, then how can I take that piece of content and repurpose it for something later? It like also depends on like how important the message is. Like, is this a piece of content that like I really need my audience to get? Well, then I need to find a way to communicate it differently because that wasn't successful. I basically like to go back and see what were my top 3 most high performing posts. And I like to keep that in a document. And then if you do that for 6 months, you'll notice that there's a specific kind of content that usually is doing better than everything else. And so then you can make that a more central piece of your overall content plan versus like if you're seeing, a different kind of content isn't actually doing that well and you're spending a lot of time making it, then get rid of it. So yeah, take yourself out of it, don't make it about you. I think that's hard, especially if you're a small business owner and you're making all of your own content. It's like, oh, I'm a failure. So like, it's not, it's just, it's all data, it's all information. Yeah, those are the things that come to me off the top of my head. I definitely don't do it every week, and I definitely don't do it every day. If you have a post too bad, like water off a duck's back, I think is what someone has said in the past. But like, if you have a bad post, you have bad posts, whatever, move on. And just when you focus more on the posts that are doing really well and less on the posts that aren't doing that well. All right, Shirley asks, can you pre-record a live and then upload? Yeah, I think that you can actually upload videos, but I personally just would go live. I would just go live. So that's my opinion on it. You can find people who have different tactics that they use for live videos, but for me, like, if you're going to do a live, go live. And it goes back to those 15 questions that we talked about at the very beginning of this. Why do I feel like I need to pre-record the video and then upload it as a live? Is it because, yes, maybe practice and then go live? Yes, that's exactly what I was going to talk about, Shirley. Like, is it because I feel like there's something wrong with me that makes me want to pre-record it? Like, do I want to stay in my safety bubble? If you want to stay in your safety bubble when you go live, that's what the Post-it notes are about. And the first time you do it, you might have 10 Post-it notes. You might be like, Ash told me I could only have 1. Well, Ash doesn't know. So I'm gonna have 10, and I'm gonna put all of my 10 Post-it notes up behind my computer or behind my screen. And those are my safety blankets. Also, another thing, so this is actually the activity that I'm gonna invite all of you to do. Let's see if I can pull back up my slide of this video or of this, but I invite you all to go live today. Just do it. Just get it out and don't worry about it. And I'm going to tell you exactly what to say when you go live. All right. So this is what you're going to say. All right. Go back to present. Okay. Present. Okay. You're going to try it out. You're going to go live. This is what you're going to do. You're going to pick out your social media platform, Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is, YouTube for some of you. You are going to push the scary live button. You're going to give them access to see you and with your camera. And then you're going to jump on and you're just going to say, I just wanted to hop on. I'm in a workshop today and we're talking all about video, and I'm really excited to share more with all of you, share more knowledge with all of you through video. And I want to see what you're interested to learn more about. Is there anything that you really would like to know more about? Is there a question that you would like me to answer? And you can do it for a minute and get off. You don't have to wait for the questions to come through. You don't have to wait for the comments to come through. Just go live, get on, say, hey, I just am on here because I'm really excited to use video and I want to see how I can help you. What questions can I answer? And do that today. When we get off of this video, I really encourage you all to just do it. Even if it's on your personal profile, you can go live on your own personal Facebook page, your personal Instagram page. It doesn't have to be on your business page if that's like, oh my God, I can't do that. I don't want to do that today. You can do it on your personal, and then you're mostly just going to be seeing your friends. Maybe your mom will hop on, your cousin, and they might have questions for you, or they, might be like, what kind of workshop are you taking today? But just see what comes up, because you might find when you go live, even just for a minute, and ask people what kinds of questions they have for you, you might find that people have really specific questions that they want you to answer, and then you have content for your next live. So you're kind of getting two things done at once. You're getting over some of the trepidation around going live and just figuring out the technical side of it. Like, what does it even look like after I hit the accept? And Marie says tag Healthy Harvest in the comments so we can watch and share and give you some feedback too. I'm happy to go around and comment on people's live videos. And also, if you want to send me an email, if you go live, if you want to send me a link and say, hey, Ash, what did you think about this? Feel free to do that. And I am happy to answer those questions for you after this video workshop is ended. But I hope that's like your takeaway from today is like, don't be afraid of going live and use it to your advantage. Don't worry about being perfect. And that's basically my wish for all of you. And that over the course of 2021, you'll go live more and you will find that it's not as scary as you thought it was going to be. And you'll find more people are liking your posts and interacting with you. And I think you'll like it. I think you'll have fun. I know I was really resistant to it for a long time, and it's like not as scary as I thought it was going to be. So any other questions? Otherwise, we can let you all go live and tag us. Yes, Marie.
And I totally encourage more questions, because this is your time with Ash, so throw them out and let us all learn together. I do have a quick poll before you jump off too. So I'm going to put this up on the screen, not to distract from conversation, but just helps us get some feedback as far as the value this brought to you today. And, for those grants, helps us show that we provide value to you all as attendees. So I will launch that here in a second.
Woohoo. And yeah, if anybody has another question while you're voting, happy to answer that.
I wanted to say thank you for the humorous and incredibly relatable demonstrations and presentation for today. You were making some jokes for sure, and you were just hearing silence. So thanks for making it entertaining.
Thank you. I try. Colleen asked, do you ever boost posts on Facebook and Instagram? So this is a really interesting question because for the last couple of years, it's been actually for more than the last couple of years. I would say for the last probably 4 to 5 years, the whole thing has been don't boost posts, make ads. If you're going to pay to play with the algorithm, that you're better off making an ad than boosting a post. So part of the reason why that is because if you're making an ad, you're probably making a direct sales ask versus if you are just boosting a post, you're basically just trying to get more people to see sort of general content that you're making. So also the other thing I would say about it is like you can get really addicted kind of to the boosting of the post. So like where you're just boosting posts all of the time. And this is where my answer to you is don't boost posts, make shareable content, make content that other people want to share so that they are sharing it out with people like them. And then you're not paying to boost the post. That said, recently I've had a couple of people who are, have shown me some people who are boosting posts and having a lot of success. And they are approaching it with a very different mindset from what I've seen people do it in the past. So what they're doing is they are planning a launch, and that launch has many different components to it. And then they boost those components. So they're kind of going in with the mindset of like, I'm creating educational, valuable content, and I'm trying to send people to sign up for my email list or whatever it is. And then I'm paying to boost those posts in a series where those boosted posts build off of each other to some kind of direct ask or direct sales. So basically, that's my complicated answer to your question. I personally never, in my own business, I never boost anything. I never pay for ads. That I'm like, I am very rebellious and want to be outside of the system. I'm not saying that that's the best approach for everybody. But I think that boosting posts can be valuable, but I would really encourage you to think about it as like, I'm boosting these specific posts that have a specific ask that are building on top of each other, and they're creating layers of connection. And as people are moving through these posts, they then like really want to engage with my content versus I have a one-time post and I'm posting something and I'm going to boost it. So I hope that that helps answer your question, Colleen, and is valuable info to you. Yeah. Okay. Yes, have a great day to you as well, Sophia. Thank you for all of your questions. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, and the other shameless plug I would make too is for those of you in North Iowa, our Grow Eat Play campaign will be launching soon. And a component of that kind of phase 2 will be incorporating video into that, and especially being able to capture just the stories of North Iowa and of our farmers and of our consumers, and anywhere that you can grow, eat, or play in North Iowa, we want to share those stories out. But definitely recognize that they don't need to be clean, polished, fancy, long YouTube videos, but we just want to be able to incorporate those posts. So expect those asks to be coming. Now that you are all confident in your video creation abilities, and yeah, we're excited about that piece too. And glad this can extend past North Iowa too. It's nice to see everybody who was able to join us today from all over.
Yes. Would it be okay to get people to
Oh.
sign up to email lists from Facebook posts? Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, we should have done that at the beginning, asked where everyone was from. But yes, absolutely. It is okay for you to get people to sign up to your email list from Facebook posts. And I highly recommend that you get people to sign up for your email list in all of the ways. Never be afraid to ask people to do that. What do I use to organize my email list? I use ConvertKit. ConvertKit is probably one of the more expensive options, but I really, really, really like it. I do a lot of information sharing and selling of my information and my classes and stuff like that. So for me, ConvertKit is the best option. MailChimp is also great. You can do a lot of great things with MailChimp. I really recommend whatever email service that you use, that you get to a point where you have automatic emails that send to people, and that you have segmented lists where you have different audiences that are interested in different specific offerings or specific topics, and you're sending them targeted information. But yeah, MailChimp is probably the one that most people use, but also if you're interested in it, ConvertKit is a really, really, really great option. And it doesn't matter if you're sending an email every week, if you're sending an email every month, if you have no plans to send an email. If you're on day one of your business, first step, make an email list. Like seriously, that's my opinion on it. We had folks from North Iowa, Southern Minnesota, Kansas City, Nebraska, Arizona. Yeah, we had people from all over today.
Yeah, I threw that in the chat, but we also, I know we had some folks, because 4 hours is a longer workshop. So we have some folks that registered and were really intentional and specific about how they were going to watch this webinar maybe over the weekend or something like that too. So those were from a couple other spaces. Yeah, kind of fun. So that's what we got. Anybody from North Iowa too, I will do a quick plug as far as we do have a happy hour this afternoon, evening at 4 o'clock through Zoom. So if you want to check that out, we're always looking to connect and hear from you guys, what's going on your farms, in your businesses, what you're looking for resources, and just hang out with folks. We joke about that adult time in the off season, which is kind of nice. So I know this is a lot of Zoom time today, but if you're around and want to join us for that, we'd love to have you there too. But I think with that, not seeing other questions, this is your last chance. And Ash is of course available via email. She's very kind to offer that up as far as that goes. So take advantage of emailing her your questions. If you come up with something later in the day and you want to reach out, by all means, reach out to Ash, reach out to Healthy Harvest. We're happy to be here and support you in your efforts of marketing your businesses. And huge thanks to Ash for doing this today too, by the way. So those little emojis that you can all clap for her and thank her as well. Yeah, there we go.
Thank you for everyone who came. It's really nice to get to talk about this and answer your questions and get you revved up to do more video.
Thank you. Thank you, Jared. I see good things coming in the comments as well. And thanks to all of you who are farmers, because none of this local food would exist without you guys or any other businesses you have that are, you know, restaurants, grocery stores, on-farm sales, farmers markets, all of the things. They're all so important. So thank you for everything you do each and every day. be part of the food systems too.